Jordan Binnington, Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Darcy Kemper, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Logan Thompson, Calgary, Alberta.
Drew Doughty, London, Ontario.
Thomas Harley, Syracuse, New York. Kyo McCarr, Calgary, Alberta.
Josh Morrissey, Calgary, Alberta.
Colton Pareko, St. Albert, Alberta.
Travis Samhan, Malcorn, Manitoba.
Shay Theodore, Aldergrove, British Columbia. Devon Taves, Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Macklin Celebrini, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Anthony Sorelli, Woodbridge, Ontario.
Sidney Crosby, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
Brandon Hagel, Mornville, Alberta.
Bo Horvat, London, Ontario. Nathan McKinnon, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Brad Marchand, Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia.
Mitch Marner, Thornhill, Ontario.
Connor McDavid, Newmarket, Ontario. Braden Point, Calgary, Alberta.
Sam Reinhart, West Vancouver, British Columbia.
Mark Stone, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Nick Suzuki, London, Ontario.
Tom Wilson, Toronto, Ontario.
Go Canada, go.
Go Canada, go! Go Canada, go! Go Canada, go!
Shot wide by Faber, who grimaces, and now Nugent Hopkins has McDavid. A breakaway on Volstead, backhanded denied. And Volstead is still perfect against Edmonton this year. See Minnesota's primary road sweaters that night. They go with the green and cream tonight. Apropos the way the Oilers are dressed. And here's a chance for Kapanen, a backhanded denied. And a save, Volstead again, able to hold sway on a point-blank look.
In aggressively, and it's again, Kapanen with that speed just gets right on top of Middleton, turns this puck over, then he finds the loose puck afterwards. Again, it's the second man quick as well.
Do you have Middleton with Forsberg and Skinner on your all-mustache team?
He's right there, for sure.
Johansson, a turnover. Draisaitl, a shot and a score! And that's the first goal Edmonton scored on Volstead. Leon Draisaitl with his 27th goal of the year, and he ties Mark Messier on the all-time Oilers scoring list.
This one for Draisaitl. The Minnesota Wild have been a tough matchup for Edmonton this year. They've been good games, they've been tight games, and for Edmonton, this is a measuring stick, no question about it. This is a heavyweight in the Central, one of the three. And for Draisaitl, good pickoff here as he just comes into the middle, picks up this pass, and then walks in on a nice shot over the pad into the blocker. So
1-4 this season. Here's Zuccarello into the zone, a quick shot. Hartman and a save, Jarry. Rebound available, and somehow Zuccarello unable to finish.
Fast game here to start things off. Here's a chance right down Main Street, and we've seen Hartman has the first look, is able to somehow come in there and bash away.
Finding that puck through a little bit of traffic. Walden the outlet on target. One touch by McDavid will get it back from Savoy and load up and give it one-timer off the outside of the right post from Savoy.
One good job by Wallman with the stick, and then this is a great look for Savoy. He has that now.
Off the draw, though, Bouchard able to lift it successfully down the left-hand side and left for Quinn Hughes. Bit of a game changer when the Wild picked up Hughes, and a dart down the middle. Eriksson breakaway, scores. That's why you get him. That's an assist in 8 straight games for Quinn Hughes. A wild record for a defenseman.
They're all watching him here. He gets this puck and starts to wind it up the ice, and it just opens up because they're just waiting for him to come up, and usually he's the one. Eriksson, this is a set play from the wall into the middle. He's behind coverage, and boy, nice pickup, little fake, and does he shelf this upstairs on the forehand side, blocker side for Jarry. Quick little fake, backhand, forehand upstairs. Not a typical power play goal.
McDavid the outlet to Bouchard. Hyman collided with a linesman as well as Middleton. That was spooned back near the blue line, grabbed by Bouchard. On to McDavid. In front, redirection home. Nugent Hopkins gets a bounce, and he needed it. 2-1 Edmonton.
Great chance at one end. Yurov has a really good chance, but this is, again, a nice hard pass over by McDavid. So good on the wall to pick up a puck. Makes it look easy, but it's not. He's getting pressured by Spurgeon. He's just trying to find the stick of Nugent Hopkins. And he just opens up the blade, and it redirects towards the net.
An awkward fall. Here's Bouchard with a minute to go, and all of a sudden, the Oilers are on it. McDavid dishing, and that somehow stayed out, and then Hyman plowed right into Volstead. This is a penalty, and Volstead might be shaken up here.
He wants to try and stay in the hunt for that puck as long as possible. Never been afraid to drive the net. He just rolls right over Volstead. Power play, Minnesota.
Hughes to Zuccarello. Snapshot save. Rebound. Backdoor score. Kaprizov stays hot, and he ties the game in the process. Second power play goal of the night for Minnesota, and the 30th goal of the year for Kirill the Thrill.
Short work of this power play. Good face-off when it's bolded. It eventually comes in, and Winger wins this face-off, and then the nice little fake delay before this shot is taken. The Minnesota Wild have done a great job to get bodies in front and find some loose pucks, and that's a beauty pass by Eriksson. We talked about him.
Live speed. Here's Spurgeon. Shot redirected. Wide open Johansson. Loading, shooting, and a sprawling stop made by Jarry.
Quick change-up on one of those two blades, at least, maybe both.
Yeah, Oiler fans want to see Jeff Lang. Oh, off the draw. Hammered home by Zuccarello, and the Wild take their first lead. Hartman a clean win off the face-off, and Zuccarello, who always seems to show up against the Oilers, gives Minnesota a 3-2 lead.
Did he ever? I mean, this was off the stick in a flash. And here it is, Hartman digs in, and perfect face-off win. I mean, he just puts this right onto the tape of Zuccarello. You can see the reaction from Zuccarello afterwards. He goes right to Hartman and says, you can't win it any better. You know, as a winger, you're just still going to maybe try and add pieces to this already very good team. I don't think they need defense, that's for sure.
Here's Bouchard, wide open, shoots into the glove of Volstead. Settled on 2 bounces by Bouchard. Now McDavid will attack. Right through Hunt to the net. Denied. Volstead, and then the rebound poked off the post by Hyman. Broken up. Ekholm to Nugent Hopkins. Faber and Hughes will trade the puck. Quinn Hughes holds in, shoots, deflected. Rebound, score! Quinn Hughes single-handedly puts the Wild ahead 4-2.
Watch Quinn Hughes pick up this puck. He notices it's a change. Second periods are tough. You got to get off the ice. It's not easy to do. Nurse deflects the first shot attempt, but then he just whips this puck to the net afterwards. He tries to take this shot off the fly, rides off the stick of Darnell Nurse, follow the knuckle puck. He just jams it towards the net and catches Jari in an awkward position.
Wired high and wide by Roslovic off a feed from Savoy, who's been a trigger man tonight. Emberson, Spencer Stastny a shot, and that stayed out. Still available, the blue paint. Hit a portion of the post, and now whistled down, and somehow never quite got there. Here comes Urov. Foligno, play is onside. Hits him in, and Tarasenko scores to make it 5-2. Missed opportunity at one end, and Vladimir Tarasenko, who's been doing it for a decade and a half with his 14th.
Takes it away and then starts to skate this puck up the ice. And just a beautiful pass across right over to Tarasenko, and he makes short work of this pass by Foligno.
Juracek with a chance to clear, but Hyman won't let him out. And now Draisaitl slips one in front. McDavid shoots, and did that kiss the bar? Has a
clone for scores. Darnell.
So no, I didn't think they'd be as good, but I certainly didn't think they would be where they are in the standings, as you say, in desperation mode. Every game now is almost must win.
Well,
I mean,
Florida,
they got to find points.
Florida and Toronto are in the same spot, but Florida has the solace of saying, hey, we just won the last two Stanley Cups.
And the Florida Panthers have been missing all their players.
All year.
The one thing that the Oilers have an advantage of tonight, and this is something we've talked about on this home stretch, they're playing teams playing back-to-back, which doesn't really bother me much, but on the back-to-back, and you're the second game, you're getting the opposition's backup goaltender. Yeah. And there is a big difference between Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Woll this year. Stolarz has struggled. He's been injured. He hasn't played as well. The Oilers got to take advantage of that, and the way you take advantage of, they need a lot of shots. They need a lot of shots early. You can't, as you talked about with Chris Knobloch, you can't find your way into a hockey game. No. You've got to be the aggressor to start with.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Calgary, Jonathan Huberdeau, the puck decisions it's ironic because Brad Treliving was the GM of the Calgary Flames. Difficult situation. Yep. Chuck wasn't going to re-sign there. I thought he made a great trade. And then you see that play with Huberdeau last saying, oh, by the way, Uyghur's minus 32 this season.
But there's a reason now. You see the Calgary Flames are where they are in their standings because those are their star players making those big mistakes. So.
All right. So tonight it's Edmonton against Toronto. You know McDavid lives for this. And the game in Toronto was not close. Edmonton, the Leafs were playing pretty well before that game, and Edmonton went in there and spanked them. It was a 6-2 game that became 6-3 at the late goal from Toronto.
Ontario players get up for games against the Toronto Maple Leafs, whether it's Toronto
Bobby
or here.
McMahon's a pending UFA. He's a Wainwright guy.
Well, and I hope he has a great game, but I have put my money more on Connor and the Edmonton Oilers with the game that he's going to have tonight. The Leafs are desperate, but the Oilers are playing a team. The Leafs, they're fragile. I really believe that this is a team that right now is waiting for the next mistake, the next bad thing to happen to them. The Edmonton Oilers, the first 15 minutes of this hockey game, set the tone in this game. Do it with your speed. Force the Toronto Maple Leafs to take penalties, and then allow your power play to win you a hockey game.
More with Rob Brown and Brendan Escott coming up during the first and second intermission. That's your Ford Keys to the Game, brought to you by Ford, the official partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Ready, set, Ford. Ready, set, Ford. Ready to go on Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network. Jack Michaels with the call up next. The Maple Leafs and the Oilers live from Rogers Place on Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
OilCountry, the ultimate Oilers watch party, happens all season long. Attend Molson Canadian Oilers game day live throughout the season for your chance to win 2026-27 Edmonton Oilers season seats. For the next Game Day Live Flight Night for your chance to win a trip for two to watch the Oilers play in Los Angeles. Join us on February 4th at On the Rocks. For the full event schedule and to RSVP to the ultimate Oilers watch party, visit OilersGameDayLive.com.
Switching energy plans? You deserve a break. From admin fees, that is. New ACO Energy customers can go admin fee-free for 6 months on a fixed plan. Lock in stable rates with ACO Energy and save up to $130 when you bundle 2 fuels. Switching is quick and easy. Visit ACOenergy.com to sign up in minutes. Conditions apply. Customers are free to purchase natural gas services or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822, toll-free in Alberta.
The same AI-powered technology that helps Oilers fans move through security efficiently at Rogers Place is also available for Edmonton area schools, hospitals, and workplaces. Evolve Technology, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers and official security screening partner of Rogers Place, helps identify potential threats and create safe experiences at hockey games and wherever people gather. Visit Rogers Place to experience Evolve live or check out evolve.com for more information. That's EVOLV.com.
The Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs for the second and final time this year. The Oilers beat Toronto in the Big Smoke 6-3 on December the 13th. Vasily Podkolzin had 2 goals that night. McDavid with 2 goals and an assist. And as we get a look at our Coventry home starting lineup, we'll see McDavid starting at center with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman on his wings, and defensively Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm on the back end. Connor Ingram getting his second career start against the Leafs will be in net for the Edmonton Oilers. Coventry reminding you, building their franchise, your home, one brick, laying the foundation at a time. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers. The Toronto Maple Leafs only 3 points behind Edmonton in the standings. But here's where the East versus the West, and specifically the Pacific Division, matters. Edmonton with a win moves into first place tonight. Toronto with a win still will be 5 points out of a playoff spot with 25 games left to go. Craig Berube starts Anthony Stolarz, briefly an Oiler in net tonight, though he never played a game for Edmonton. Jake McCabe and Troy Stetcher, the Oiler at the beginning of this season, finished with the club last year as well. They'll be your starting defensive pair, although Carlo is McCabe's normal partner, while Stetcher plays with his old teammate back in Arizona, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Austin Matthews centers the top line for Toronto. Bobby McMahon, the Alberta native, will be with Max Domi on the wings. So it's Edmonton 28-20-8 and Toronto 26-21-9. I'm Jack Michaels alongside Bob Stauffer with tonight's starting lineup, brought to you by Coventry Homes, and inside our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. And Bob, with the Olympics a couple days away, some recognition on the Jumbotron of Team Canada and Team Germany. But here and now, this game feels like it's bigger for Toronto. But from an Edmonton perspective, considering the 19 goals against over the last 4 games, is there work to be done heading into the break, or do you feel the bulk of that work will come in the mini camp after the break?
I think there will be some subtle changes and tweaks to how Edmonton's going to play, and it's really going to start with a bit of a boot camp. But it will not involve Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Josh Szymanski. And what a difference, Jack. The year before you came here in 2010, they recognized the Olympians, and it was all the guys on the other team. And now, the Oilers only have 3 guys going, but 2 of them are 2 of the 5 best players in the world.
It's a good thing they didn't recognize them when Minnesota was in town. Otherwise, we would have had to delay this game by about 5 minutes, with the Wild having 9 players. We now pause for a moment of silence in the aftermath of the tragedy of Southern Alberta.
J.J. Wright, both 18 from Kamloops, British Columbia, along with 17-year-old Caden Fine from Birmingham, Alabama, tragically lost their lives in a motor vehicle accident on their way to practice. The Edmonton Oilers Hockey Club, along with its players and fans, mourn the loss of Cameron, JJ, and Caden. Our hearts are with their families, teammates, billet families, and everyone across the hockey community who is feeling the weight of this loss. Please stand if you're able and join us in a moment of silence as we honor the lives of these 3 young men. Thank you. And now, please join the singing voice of your Edmonton Oilers, Robert Clark, in the performance of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada,
our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Now, tonight's exclusive NHL broadcast.
Shoots and scores! But now it's Draisaitl off to Connor McDavid for the hat trick. He scores!
All the action called by the voices who know the game inside and out.
This crowd explodes!
Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels on the Oilers Radio Network.
Well, it's always a fun night inside Rogers Place when the Toronto Maple Leafs come to town. You've got warring chants. You've got a high degree of volume on both sides from both fan bases, but Toronto's had most of the fun. In fact, the Maple Leafs are second only to Florida in terms of a win-loss record in this building. They're 10-2-1. The Oilers looking to change that, and in doing so, sweep the season series tonight against a desperate Toronto club that's put 2 wins together after a 6-game losing streak that left them in dire straits as far as an Eastern Conference playoff spot. We're set to go alongside Bob Stauffer and with Brendan Escott and Rob Brown behind me. It's McDavid and Matthews. We're underway. Toronto in the white and blue, Edmonton in the blue, orange, and white. And off the draw, the puck pops out of play. Toronto on the second of a back-to-back. It's the 4th time on this homestand the Oilers are getting a team that played in Calgary the night before. The Leafs beat the Flames last night 4-2, raced out to a 3-0 lead, and then hung on for the proverbial dear life. Got a couple of lucky bounces down the stretch. But it was their first road win in regulation in nearly 2 full months. They have struggled on the road this year, 10 wins in 25 games. McDavid charges in. Again, had a 3-point night in Toronto earlier this year. A breakout pass delivered to Bobby McMahon, who has 5 goals in the 5 games he's played against the Oilers. Matthias Ekholm swings over to try to play it up the left-hand side. That did not pan out. Wrestled free in front. Here's a jam by Domi and a save made by Connor Ingram. A glorious chance right off the hop for the Leafs, who also scored 35 seconds into last night's game. Here's a dish by Michelli up top. A drive from distance. A save made on Jake McCabe. And the rebound ends up on the right half boards, played up top, and a hard shot taken by Stetcher, who scored last night for Toronto against Calgary. That one blockered out of play by Connor Ingram. But Edmonton, 2 chances against in the first minute, Bob. Not an auspicious start defensively for a club that, as we talked about, has given up 19 goals in the last 4, even as they've won 3 of those.
You're being kind because you could go back 5 and Pittsburgh put up 6, and I wasn't too happy that night. And that's a porous start for Edmonton. They had puck possession in their own zone, couldn't make a play, need to settle down.
Harris up to Podkolzin up the left-hand side. I wanted to focus on that first 3-game winning streak of the season, but your point is well taken. Chipped up the right-hand side and out. The Oilers blasted by Minnesota 7-3 on Saturday, and that was a night where the Oilers put up 40 shots on net, but the grade A chances, I would say, were in favor of Minnesota.
Slightly in favor of Minnesota. I know that the expected goals for, depending upon which models you use, were relatively close. I didn't think that game was that close. The Oilers did hit 3 posts and crossbar, but Minnesota was better. Edmonton needs to dig in defensively here and improve how they're playing.
Actually, if you include the Washington game, Bob, you make a good point. It's 30 goals against in the last 6 games. That's 5 goals per game. Even I can do that math.
Well,
here's a
you
draw.
at least got your degree. I didn't.
And a lead pass for Draisaitl. That was deflected. But Colson will kick it back to Darnell Nurse. He and Wallman are a pairing tonight, second pair for Edmonton. The only lineup change, other than Ingram starting instead of Tristan Jarry as compared to Minnesota. Ooh, a big forecheck, won by Kapanen, leads to a terrific chance for Draisaitl. And Stolarz has to come up with the goods, and Draisaitl's frustrated. He didn't bury that, but that was created by Kasperi Kapanen. And you made a good point the other day, Bob, about Edmonton's record since Kapanen has been back in the lineup these last 2 times.
7-2-2, right? That's not bad. And that time it was Ekman Larsson, who's been terrific for the Leafs. There's some people believe he might get dangled. They'll probably be able to get a number 1 for him, I would think. Maybe a late number 1, but he got bodied off the puck on a heavy hit by Kapanen, who can get in on the forecheck. Of course, Kapanen, a former Leaf that went to Toronto initially in the Phil Kessel trade back in July 1st of 2015.
Clean face-off, win for Lawton. Played up by Philip Myers up the right-hand side and out. Edmonton 4-3 on this 8-game homestand, the longest they've had since 1982. And a big difference between 5-3 and 4-on-4 in terms of the feel heading to Calgary tomorrow, which may be a tougher game than a lot of people anticipate. Flames had the Leafs on the ropes late in the game, but they're dead last in the league offensively for a reason, and a couple of pucks that were sitting on the goal line just didn't find their way home. Stastny in his own zone for the Oilers to Matt Savoy, and the Oilers bust out left to right. Roslovic will spill it in and change. That's handled by Stolarz, and a leave for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. The roar you hear behind me is, again, the Go Leafs Go and Let's Go Oilers competing chants. Another solid forecheck, and the Oilers going to work. Mangiapane drawing in on the 4th line. Lazar takes a seat in the press box. Frederick and Janmark are Mangiapane's line mates, and you'll see a mix of Janmark and Frederick at center ice. Here's a turnover by Janmark and a great chance for Robertson. Good save by Ingram. The outlet is on target. Here's Mangiapane dishing off, shot, and getting it up on the heel of his stick. That one sailed well wide of its intended target, and that's been the kind of offensive campaign it's been for Trent Frederick as he's frustrated on that rush 3 minutes into a scoreless first.
Well, not a separation burst there from Mangiapane. The Oilers with 2 stone-cold giveaways down around their net. And I'd say Edmonton's lucky to have not given up one in the Leafs with a similar type of giveaway in their zone. And Leon frustrated that he didn't finish it off. Let's see if McDavid's line has a better second shift to this game.
Off the draw, Nurse to Wallman, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman out there. Swung down low by Wallman. Nugent Hopkins in a losing cause. Edmonton did get a couple guys off the schneid, Roslovic and Nugent Hopkins. McDavid looking for Hyman. That pass off the skate for Nugent Hopkins. It was just his 2nd goal in the last 18. And Roslovic had only scored in one of his previous 14 games. Here's a chance for Nurse. Hard to the net, short side, and a save made by Stolarz. Rebound, Nurse flicks it into the corner for Nugent Hopkins. Stolarz had a terrific year last season, but has struggled mightily this year. McMahon broke up a cycle, and here comes Matthews offensively. Dishing off, looking for Jake McCabe. It slid off the toe of his stick, and now McDavid the other way, left to right. With a head of steam over the line. Left circle, shooting, and that was blocked. And the rebound taken by Troy Stetcher. On to William Nylander, who had a 3-point night and was by far and away the best player in the game last night in Calgary. 2 primary assists and a goal. Draisaitl with a clear up to Podkolzin. Fished off his stick, and this will turn into an icing call whistled against Edmonton with 4:20 having elapsed in this first period. No score, and with the Leafs having to climb over several teams, Bob, safe to say Nylander has found it, but Matthews and Tavares and a few other guys are going to have to join him if Toronto's going to qualify for the postseason.
I mean, they go as Nylander goes. let's not forget the Oilers' victory in Toronto. He was sick that night and basically didn't finish the game. He had no juice at all.
Yeah, we weren't sure he was going to play at all. He did start the game, but as Bob mentioned, did not finish it. 6-3 as Edmonton pulled ahead in the third period to close it out after leading 3-2 after 2. Off the draw, the Oilers don't get it out. Dreisaitl's line is out there. Here's Michelli trying to feed the middle, intended for Tavares, but picked off by Draisaitl, the league's fifth leading scorer. He'll get it back as he comes over the line from Podkolzin. Dishes to Kapanen, one-timer Ekholm, and that slithered wide. Rebound out to Bouchard, right point. Oilers buzzing the offensive zone. Tavares pursuing Draisaitl. Here's Bouchard with a shot that's deflected high and out of play. Nearly 5 minutes gone in this first period. Toronto with 4 of the game's 5 shots on net. Evan Bouchard on yet another tear. Here's the comparison between Bouchard and Toronto's defense. Bouchard, as Bob mentioned in the pregame show, 12 points in his last 5 games. The Toronto defense as a collective has 11 points in their last 9 games.
Yeah, there you go. Bouch is good.
Tied for first in the league in scoring when it comes to defense with Zach Werenski. Another guy who gets overlooked, I think similar to Bouchard. Off the draw, Emberson. He's not getting overlooked that much this year.
No, he's going to be a finalist for the Norris Trophy. I'm not sure Bouchard will.
A steal and played up the right-hand side by Lawton, but not out. This is good work from Roslovic. Up top, Emberson takes a pass from Stastny. A shot redirected, and then Roslovic fired it over the net. That puck was bouncing. Emberson finished his hit hard on Steven Lawrence, but the puck exits the zone, and then Lawrence comes back and thunders right into him. Here comes Roslovic back into the offensive zone for Josh Szymanski. Then a quick release by Roslovic off the left skate of Savoy. The ricochet comes into the corner. Lawrence can't get there. It's held in by Roslovic. Savoy has it punched off his stick by Benoit. Scott Lawton caromed it off the side of Lawrence, and Toronto will change on the fly as it's given to Wallman.
Oilers aren't getting shots through right now. They've had lots of opportunities around the net.
Just one shot credited on goal as Wallman flicks it back behind. Edmonton, Wallman, cross-ice pass, tipped, tugged away from Janmark. Good body position, and ultimately that's freed up for McCabe, but he didn't get it out. Brandon Carlo put him in an awkward spot, and now Nicholas Waugh will give it to Carlo one more time. Sent ahead and streaking in is Nick Robertson to negate any sort of icing. A centering pass is on target, and Waugh was denied by Connor Ingram. I thought Waugh might have drawn a hooking penalty, but none forthcoming. They're letting him play early. Robertson back down low. Waugh, several productive years in Vegas as a malleable type guy who was moved up and down in the Golden Knights lineup. It hasn't clicked for him in Toronto. Frederick, a beautiful pass and a save made by Stolarz, who came out to challenge against Mangiapane. And a symbiotic of the years Frederick and Mangiapane have. A drive by Ekholm and a save through traffic made by Anthony Stolarz. As getting in front of the net that time was Janmark. Mangiapane, an outstanding look, but Stolarz pushed hard off the left skate and made the save. Mangiapane getting in a bit of a dust-up. He's trying to earn regular ice time down the stretch. We played 7 minutes. It's Edmonton-Toronto. The Oilers looking for the season sweep. There's no score in the hockey game. We're back with more first period play-by-play in just a moment. From downtown Edmonton on a balmy early February evening, the Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Oil Country. Stranded in the snow, stuck on the side of the road, or just locked out of your ride? Visit OilCountryTowing.com, Edmonton's most trusted 24/7 towing and roadside rescue team. Oil Country Towing will get you going.
During every Oilers game day, the Canadian Brewhouse is your hockey headquarters. Cheer on the blue and orange, surrounded by fans as passionate as you are, while sipping $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. And that's not all. Every game day, you can enter to win Oilers home game tickets. So grab your crew, grab a seat, and make the Canadian Brewhouse your go-to spot this hockey season. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Meet Joe. Joe knows that a happy partner equals a happy trip. Joe booked a room through Edmonton's besthotels.com and scored up to $225 in rewards. Hello date night, fancy dinner, the works. Joe is smart. Be like Joe. Visit Edmonton'sBestHotels.com to book your next stay in Edmonton.
Hey, Oil Country. Stranded in the snow? Stuck on the side of the road? Or just locked out of your ride? Visit OilCountryTowing.com, Edmonton's most trusted 24/7 towing and roadside rescue team. Oil Country Towing will get you going.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
13:09 left first period. The Edmonton Oilers looking to take over sole possession of first place in the Pacific Division with a win tonight on home ice against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are desperate to string some wins together and are playing on the second of a back-to-back. Off the draw, McCabe overran, and then recovered and flipped it up the left-hand side for McMahon. Too far for Matthews, but he'll get there ahead of Nugent Hopkins and negate icing. Austin Matthews, 13 career goals against the Oilers, worked off the puck. He's actually won 13 of the 20 matchups against Edmonton, but since the first 6, the Oilers have at least played even with Toronto as they've split the last 14 meetings. But Toronto has the best record of the NHL against the Oilers in the last 10 years of any team. McDavid off the rush. He'll take a drop pass from Nugent Hopkins, but again, to Bob's point, unable to get that shot through. It's blocked, and the carom is handled by Max Domi. He'll go one-on-one against Jake Wallman. Domi reunited with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They began their careers together with Arizona. Wallman breaks away from Domi and shovels it down the right-hand side. This may very well be icing, and there's the whistle with 12:01 to go in our first period.
You mentioned Toronto's record, but the fact of the matter is, Jack, since Austin Matthews has come in the league, the Leafs have got the third-best record in the regular season in the NHL. So since the start of the 16-17 season. The Oilers are 12th during that time. Of course, 17, 18, 19, 20, they missed the playoffs.
Now do playoff wins.
It's not even close.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Yes, Toronto has put up some decent regular season numbers, but I think generally speaking, you wouldn't say Toronto has been the favorite in the regular season matchups. In over the line, a shot by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and that missed glove side. Certainly you wouldn't think they'd go 10-2-1 at Rogers Place.
No.
Here's Nylander inside to Michelli, who flubbed a one-timer in the slot. He'll shovel it back to the point, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Michelli used to be a pain for the Oilers to deal with when he was in Arizona. He's been in and out of the Toronto lineup. Nifty pass to Nylander, a shot, and that was fought off by Ingram as Nylander had Ingram going to his left, but Ingram was able to make the save. Draisaitl the other way, but his centering pass broken up and eventually grabbed by Michelli. He'll fork it over, looking for Nylander, who turns and twists it ahead for Ekman-Larsson. He'll try to protect the puck as Toronto makes a change on the fly. And Matthew Knies' forecheck creates a second look for Ekman-Larsson. Tried to go inside to Nick Waugh, and then up top, Benoit turned it over to Roslovic, and here come the Oilers. Draisaitl with Oliver Ekman-Larsson back. Gives it up for Nurse, a backhander on net, and a save made by Stolers. And the rebound taken by Toronto. And Nicholas Waugh, he got blasted by Nurse. Popped right back up to his credit, gained the line, and tried to jam it in deep. Here's Nurse up the left-hand side. I have to admit, I'm a little bit surprised that hasn't worked out for Waugh thus far in Toronto.
They can trade him. Teams like him.
Ty Emberson will get it back from Stastny. The puck partially deflected as he sends it in. Janmark in on the forecheck against Myers, but quickly cleared to Benoit. Toronto pushing hard left-hand side. Lawrence turned it over. Stastny up the right wing boards. Reaching for it is McCabe, and now pounded in the corner, Lawton, but absorbing the hit was Mangiapane. So Janmark shovels it up top for Ekholm, and then a shot redirected from Bouchard, and a tough save made by Stolers. That, in many ways, the best save of the night, as Stolers was wrong-footed, but still got a piece of that deflection. Brandon Carlo off the dump in, played 9 years in Boston, 85 playoff games, has never had as many as 20 points in a season, but he's what Toronto needed, a hard-nosed defender. Here's Domi trying to center. Flipped out by Bouchard. Held in by Carlo. Looking right side for Bobby McMahon, who eventually is able to close out in the corner. McMahon quietly with 18 goals on this team. And really, when you look at this team, I mean, he's got as many as Nylander. He's one behind Tavares. Austin Matthews, the leading goal scorer, 26. Here's McDavid busting loose. Drag move. And as he tried to go upstairs, he draws a penalty. It's going to be a late trip whistled against Toronto. McDavid never got the cleanest shot away against Anthony Stolarz. But that lateral quickness as he carried it in from the right-hand side and then dragged it to the front of the net, he's able to get a tripping call against Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the 16-year veteran. And when we come back, the Oilers will be on an Atco power play. We've played 11 minutes. There's no score. It's Edmonton, Toronto, Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. Dealers Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Whether you're building a home, a community, or championship team, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens one step, one shift, one brick at a time. Coventry Homes, never done building. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers, proudly celebrating 50 years. Visit coventryhomes.ca.
Sometimes hockey can feel like life, but you need an off-season. And Sherwood Power Sports and Marine have the equipment to make your downtime a great time. Louis DeBrusque here, inviting you to check out the brand new Sherwood Park location across from Millennium Place. You'll find the best in boats, ATVs, motorcycles, and gear from brands you trust. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine have my seal of approval. Click to SherwoodPowersports.ca. Hockey fans helping hockey fans.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
First power play of the game belongs to Edmonton, and this is strength on strength. While Toronto's power play has fallen off a cliff, Edmonton at 31%, tops in the league. The Leafs' penalty kill is 5th. And they don't face a lot of power play opportunities. Toronto neither draws nor takes penalties. Off the draw, circles outside the line. Here's Draisaitl curling it back to McDavid. Out wide to his left, and then missing as he tried to go top right corner against Stolarz. That hit the glass and held in by Hyman. Around to McDavid, who has 10 power play goals. Tried to center, that was blocked away. He'll use a screen from Draisaitl. Load up top of the right circle, Bouchard, who elects to pass on the shot, gives it up to Draisaitl to the net, backdoor, and that was off the post. What a chance for Hyman. He had Stolarz down and out and rung the bar. Here's Nugent Hopkins in front, deflected off a couple of skates, fought for, and ultimately controlled and cleared by Lorentz.
2 point-blank looks in this game. One for Draisaitl and one for Hyman for Edmonton.
And I'm pretty sure that drew iron. Here's Draisaitl in from the right-hand side. Beautiful pass for McDavid, trying to give it up, and that pass handcuffed Hyman. I think he thought McDavid might use the pads as a pass. Here's McDavid returning it to the point. Bouchard lunging, did not hold the zone. It crawls outside with 46 seconds left in this Atco power play. Atco, your trusted Alberta retailer. The Oilers, Kids and Oils Country, mega 50-50. Well, the jackpot is already over, $1.8 million. And so you can win a suite for 12, a 2-night stay at the Pine Bungalow Chalet in Jasper, and $10,000 cash with some of those early bird tickets. So get online as this face-off will come outside the zone. Draisaitl hitting McDavid. He'll charge in, top of the right circle. 3 Leafs collapse on him. Hyman kept it alive. Now McCabe looks to reverse, but Hyman won't let him escape. Brandon Carlo got it off the stick, and then Draisaitl turned it over. It's 2-on-1. Lawrence ahead for Lawton. Lawton right circle, shoots and missed high glove badly. And that'll come off the boards and sent up ice by Nugent-Hopkins. The top unit will peel off on a change, and it matters not because there's only 5 seconds left in the power play. Benoit hangs on, then releases the puck with 2 seconds to go, and that enables Toronto to get a change and a reset 5-on-5. Ekholm on the ice for the Oilers. Hits Kapanen, streaking in right-hand side. The former Leaf had a 20-goal season in Toronto, a career year. Wallman down low in the corner. Gets it back from Podkolzin. Over to Nurse. His shot tipped. Wide Roslovic on his backhand. He'll give it up for Podkolzin. Up top, Wallman. His shot saved. Stolarz doesn't know where the rebound is. In the blue paint, still available. And tugged out of there by Max Domi. Stolarz could not reel that rebound in, but Domi an alert play. Up to Matthews. Trying to snapshot, and that was blocked by Wallman. Matthews less than a point per game. It's been a quiet year for him. McMahon to Nylander. Up top, Stetcher. Goes back to Matthews, and the pass eluded him. A lot of speculation that Matthews is playing at far less than 100%. Here's Kapanen. Once considered part of that core with Matthews and Marner. Nylander swings and shoots, and that was a blocker save made. Nylander draws it back really far, and then he snapped it off the blocker of Connor Ingram, and as he watches it sail out of play, we'll take you to a break. 5:50 to go in the first period. The shots are 7-6 Leafs, and none have gotten by the goaltenders. No score in the hockey game. First period action continues in just a moment. It's Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Leafs and the Oilers. On the Oilers Radio Network.
From the first time on skates to wearing a special jersey passed down through generations, Sentinel Storage is here for you. Store your sports gear to create space for all life's adventures. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
If you ever find yourself needing collision repair, CarStar is here to help make accidents unhappen. Any make, any model. That said, there are some accidents CarStar can't make unhappen, such as accidentally waking a hibernating bear, accidentally biting into a raw habanero pepper, accidentally throwing a frisbee at a beehive. CarStar, Canada's trusted collision repair expert, is here to make car accidents unhappen. For a location near you, visit carstar.ca.
In OilCountry, winning on the ice goes hand in hand with winning off the ice. With the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50 presented by Rogers, winning can mean both a life changed and a life saved. Because every ticket purchase helps more kids, more families, and more communities in need than ever before. And with the largest jackpots in all of sports, you could become Alberta's next millionaire. Get your tickets right now at EdmontonOilers.com. Because when you play, all of OilCountry wins.
AGLC license number 744517.
From the first time on skates to wearing a special jersey passed down through generations, Sentinel Storage is here for you. Store your sports gear to create space for all life's adventures. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
0-0 Toronto and Edmonton. Leafs on the second of a back-to-back. They're 3-4-1. They've got 19 wins in their last 26 with Edmonton. But it's started to even up in recent years. And the Oilers, having won 6-3 back in December, looking to sweep the season series and take over first place in the Pacific over idle Vegas, who's dropped 5 in a row, and Bruce Cassidy's not happy. Emberson will give it up for Draisaitl. Beautiful spinning backhand pass. Stastny down the slot, had his pocket picked. Is that Nylander? And then the Stastny shot eventually deflected up and out of play. And Bob, the one thing with Stastny is sometimes it takes him a little extra to get that shot off, and Nylander almost made him pay.
You think a guy that would skate with that sort of explosiveness, I mean, he was a converted forward, as you know, but the instincts are not there offensively. It's a great defensive play by Nylander. You got to give him credit. Didn't quit on the play, but that puck's got to be the net. The Oilers have had 4 or 5 opportunities in the high slot where they haven't even gotten shots on goal.
Shots are split at 7 apiece. And a face-off win for Matthews. That's lofted up in the air by Carlo. Bounces at center, eventually corralled by Nugent Hopkins. Up the left-hand side, Hyman sealed off by Carlo. Curiously enough, coming into tonight, Hyman had played exactly 345 games for both clubs. This is game number 346 with Edmonton. Of course, he's got 166 goals with the Oilers after 86 in Toronto. Quick dish from McCabe to McMahon. Angled one off the boards. Brushed by Ekholm up the left-hand side. Nice play by McDavid. He's got Hyman and hits him in stride. Hyman right wing. An ill-advised drop pass for Bouchard. It was behind him, and all Bouchard could do was kind of knife it down low. Easily cleared by Carlo, and the Oilers must regroup at center. Bouchard will knock it down, walk it in himself. He'll swing it to Wallman. A shot and a save made by Stolarz. Square to the shooter. He'll put it away. 4:20 to go in the first period. No score in the hockey game between Edmonton and Toronto.
So the Leafs are a different team. When they don't have Nylander, they're a slow team. But because
Mitch Marner left for Vegas.
Right, and there's a couple numbers that prove it. And one of them is they've given up the most shots against per game this year in the NHL.
And they've struggled with Morgan Rielly in the lineup. Now, he's hurt.
Yeah.
He'll miss the last 3 games heading into the break. But without him, Toronto's been excellent over the last couple of years, curiously enough. Matthew Nyes spun around at center. Leafs also minus Christopher Tanev, who's out with a very similar groin injury that Matthias Ekholm endured. In fact, for advice on it, through Troy Stetcher, there was actually a phone call that took place between Tanev and Ekholm to get some advice on rehabbing that injury, as we've got an icing call against Edmonton. And once again, Mangiapane stirring the pot a little bit with Trent Frederick. And Mangiapane's desperate for any kind of traction, Bob. He started the first 39 games. He's been scratched for 9 of the previous 17.
And it is believed that at one time this offseason that maybe Mangiapane was a little bit on the radar screen for the Maple Leafs. Of course, Brad Treliving had him in Calgary the year on the 3rd line, where he scored 35 goals.
There's a lot of talk involving Mangiapane and McMahon. Is there any truth to it, Bob? Because you would have heard that talk.
Lots would have to happen to make that happen.
Face-off coming to Ingram's left-hand side. And off the draw, won by Frederick. Here's Wallman in the clutches of Nyes. Nick Robertson coming off the right half boards. Moved it in front. Intercepted by Janmark. And he'll dump it in. That's going to be gloved by Stolarz. And he didn't like where Mangiapane was. And then when Mangiapane put the brakes on and made contact with Stolarz, the Leafs finally have had enough. Stolarz gave him a shot. And then coming in with some blows exchanged, Ekman Larson, who's not usually that guy, but as Bob mentioned, his rediscovery of his offensive game has led to him being more involved, just generally speaking. And he was the man who kind of wrestled Mangiapane out of there. And I think we're going to have coincidentals here at 16:24 of the first period with no score in the hockey game. At least I thought we were going to have coincidentals.
Well, it better be more than one player. I mean, the guy got punched twice.
So Mangiapane came in, and Stolarz just, he didn't really make a lot of contact, but the Leafs have had enough of Mangiapane, and this is what made him an effective player at times in Calgary, in addition to his goal scoring. There it is. They'll even it up, and Ekman Larson will sit in the box. Stolarz really roughed him more than Ekman Larson did, but either way, we'll saw it off, and the 3.5 to go in the first period. Who knows, Bob? Maybe the 4-on-4 breaks it open for Edmonton because...
Or Toronto.
Well,
one of these teams wants to get going here offensively. We're going to see best on best.
I think minus Mitch Marner, Toronto's not as effective 4-on-4 or 3-on-3.
I just want to know how Stolarz and Mike Larson gets 4 shots in.
Yeah, that's interesting from Ekman Larson. Not typically a guy you'd associate with that kind of stuff.
He's had a good season, boy.
He has. Matthews and Nylander out there.
2 years left in his deal at $3.5 million. There'd be teams lined up to trade for him. They decide to go that route.
McDavid and Draisaitl. So you've got 3 of the top 4 goal scorers on the ice at the same time right now over the last 5 years. The only interloper is David Pastrnak. Draisaitl was wrestled down. That was Bob's groan. McCabe up top for Carlo. He'll shoot and a glove save. Ingram had a clean look at it. He wanted to spoon it over to McDavid, but instead the puck frozen with 3:14 to play.
That's the 4th time in this period the Oilers have had puck possession behind their goal where the Leafs came away with possession. And that is a sign. You wonder whether or not are there enough compete drills in practice when you're losing battles like that. Of course, the Oilers had a very favorable schedule the last 3 weeks, actually had some real practice time.
Draisaitl digs in against Austin Matthews, who wins the faceoff. Now Stetcher fires a hard pass across to McCabe. Here's Matthews. Backing off, gives it up for William Nylander. In turn to Stetcher. His shot blocked. Stetcher's been a revelation in Toronto. Gotten a ton of ice time. Coming over to cut off an advancement was Nylander. Then Bouchard forced it back into the Toronto zone. So with all that explosive talent on the ice, really didn't have a scoring chance.
Edmonton couldn't get the puck.
Stetcher to Benoit. He'll chip it in for Toronto with 2.5 to go in the period. Ingram put it up on that glass, and it worked out perfectly. Right to Nugent Hopkins. In over the line. Nugent Hopkins cuts to his left, then fanned on the shot and clubbed one over the net. It just would not sit for him. And Tavares comes up with a rebound for Toronto ahead for McMahon, who conservatively decides to kick it back to Brandon Carlo. That was an odd choice from Bobby McMahon, who's from Wainwright, Alberta, and played Junior A for the Bonneville Pontiacs. Max Domi building speed through the neutral zone, right to left for the Leafs. Toronto in the white, Edmonton in the blue. Stetcher, one touch to Domi. He'll turn and give it up. McCabe across. Domi. Centering pass intended for Lawton, broken up. Oilers lost possession. McCabe, a hard pass into the feet, held in by Stetcher, dished right-hand side and kept alive for the moment by Philip Myers. Now Stetcher catches a tough pass that was behind him, almost ran into Mangiapane out of the box, and he did. Mangiapane the steal. Edmonton kept it onside, but Mangiapane ran into his own man. Here comes Toronto. Nylander burrowing his way inside, and Ekholm just erased him. Excellent play by Matthias Ekholm.
Oilers got to get moving their feet here, Jack.
They dump it into the Toronto zone. Matthews will take an outlet from Myers. Mangiapane forced a turnover, drives the net. Mangiapane flipped one wide as Matthews, back checking from behind, altered that shot. But still, Mangiapane has had an active first period. You can tell he's desperate to make an impression, as if to say, you're not taking me out tomorrow against Calgary. Forced in by Nylander, picked off by Bouchard. Final minute, first period, no score in the hockey game. Here's Bouchard from Ekholm. In from the right-hand side. Centering pass, a snapshot over the net. Draisaitl on a hard collision with Bouchard, who seems none the worse for wear. Lawton hits center ice, jams it in. Wallman over to Bouchard up the right-hand side. Draisaitl looks to avoid traffic in the form of Nicholas Waugh, chipped in by Kapanen. Back to get it, Stetcher. Kapanen blasts it. Boy, he has been effective. But Colson won a battle, but the centering pass is not handled by Nurse, and Edmonton has to fall back to center. Looks like we're destined for a scoreless first, but Wallman turns it over. Lawton looking for one last chance as his pass intercepted by Draisaitl. And indeed, the horn will sound. We've played 20 minutes and settled nothing. No score in the hockey game. The shots officially 9-8 for Edmonton. And Bob, that shot clock could be closer to 14 or 15, but the Oilers had some trouble, especially in the early going, getting shots through.
I mean, Toronto blocked a lot of shots, but the Oilers, to me, were not sharp. They had some looks, they had some opportunities, did not capitalize on them. Frankly, expected a little bit more juice from the Oilers in the first period.
So no score, Edmonton and Toronto. This is the final game of an 8-game homestand for the Oilers who have won 3 of the last 4. They're 4-3 on the homestand, and they've got Calgary looming tomorrow. Now, they beat St. Louis in their last second of a back-to-back, so they've won 2 out of 9 on the season. But remember, Calgary got them after Christmas by a score of 3-2. So they've been a competitive club, and we go ringside with a former Flame, Andrew Mangiapane. Aiden Gannum standing by.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Andrew, about as back and forth as a first period can get. You throwing the physicality around. Just take me through that first period from your eyes.
Yeah, I think just trying to get our legs going for myself. I know it's cliche, but, you just wanted to get pucks in deep and finish your checks and everything like that, right? So I think we did a pretty good job. I think we can still tighten up defensively. I think that's been our mindset coming into these last 2 games here, so we got to continue keep getting better in that area.
The Leafs traveled really well tonight. A lot of blue jerseys, not the right kind of blue. What kind of atmosphere does that create for the players, and how does that affect the game?
Yeah, it's good. Good, I guess, for fans and viewers and all that, but honestly, I feel like there's still a lot of Edmonton fans cheering us on and overpowering them and all that, right? So, like our home crowd, and they're always with us, so it's definitely good to see.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys.
And thank you. A no score through 20 minutes of play.
That's the best period Mangiapane's had in weeks. Like he was all over.
I'd agree with you.
Like he was amongst the Oilers' best players in that period.
I don't mind the penalty he takes either.
No, I mean, he's standing up for himself. He's going in there.
And Stolarz is a guy you can get to a little bit from an emotional standpoint.
Well, I mean, let's not forget, in fairness to Toronto, last 6 years, 2 teams out of Florida won 4 Stanley Cups and gone to Stanley Cup in the years they didn't win. And those are good teams. And you take Stolarz out of that series last year of Florida.
He got hurt in game 1. Bennett hit him.
Who knows? Maybe, I'm not saying Toronto gets past Carolina even, right? But I'm just wondering whether or not, the Maple Leafs win that series if they have Stolarz. Now, he hasn't been the same guy this year.
No.
But the Oilers...
Save percentage is down 50 points. But it was 926 last year.
Jack, the pucks were hitting him in the first period.
Yeah.
He got hit a couple times on point-blank looks for Edmonton.
Mangiapane talked about the focus defensively. There were 3 giveaways in the first 5 minutes. Did you see an improvement from that point on?
1 giveaway final 15 minutes back behind the goal. Draisaitl turned it over. That was it. But there were 3 bad ones in the first 5 minutes, and fortunately 2 pretty good saves by the Oilers. Connor Ingram made the difference.
No score in the hockey game. When we come back, Brendan Escott, Rob Brown. We're live from Rogers Place as Edmonton finishes up an 8-game homestand. Keep this in mind. The Oilers lost to Minnesota on Saturday. They've got the best record in the league following a loss, 17-7-3. That's put to the test tonight against the Toronto club looking for their 3rd straight win and to get on a roll and potentially challenge for one of the final spots out east. 0-0 through 20. Brendan and Rob are next. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Here's what's new at 880ched.com.
880 Ched and Jubilation's Dinner Theater want to celebrate you. As a thank you to our amazing listeners, Eileen Bell will be hosting a listener appreciation night at Jubilation's Dinner Theater's production of Pirates of the River Saskatchewan on February 18th. Enter for your chance to climb aboard at 880ched.com.
Get your name on our insider list today and keep up to date on pre-sales, contests, and more. Visit 880ched.com. This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Load up top of the right circle, Bouchard, who elects to pass on the shot, gives it up to Draisaitl to the net backdoor, and that was off the post. What a chance for Hyman. He had Stolarz down and out and rung the bar.
That's as close as the Oilers would come to scoring a goal, and that is our highlight zone. Brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos with 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and next to Edmonton International Airport. Welcome to the winner's zone. Yeah, we are scoreless after 20 minutes of play here. Brendan Escott and Rob Brown high above ice level at Rogers Place, and it felt like the Oilers controlled a lot of the zone time in that frame, but Toronto was blocking a lot of shots. Rob, how did you see things?
I thought it was a fairly even period. The score is tied. The shots are almost even, 9-8 in favor of the Oilers. I thought both teams had a couple big mistakes that their goaltender bailed them out from. Toronto 3 times came from behind the Oilers' net, stealing the puck from Oilers players, coming out in front. All 3 times Ingram made a save, and then probably the best save for Ingram was a shot from Troy Stetcher at the point through a screen, and he was able to get his shoulder on it and deflect it over the glass. And on the other end, the Oilers created a couple of really good looks. The best is the one that we just heard that I thought Stolarz got across and was able to save it. That was a great save by Stolarz. Then Nugent Hopkins had one in the slot, wasn't able to get the puck off. McDavid comes through, he draws the penalty, but he wasn't able to get the puck off. So both teams had some looks. Both goalies looked comfortable. I thought 2 teams played very well. We talked, John Shannon talked to us before the game, and the player that he said has been the best by far for the Toronto Maple Leafs has been William Nylander, and I think we saw that in the first period. He was the most electric player by far for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He created the chances that they had, but I thought a well-played period. I think both coaches will be happy, but still, I think both teams have a little bit more to give offensively, as the chances they got, neither team was able to not only finish, but to get the good opportunity. It seemed like they bobbled the puck more than they created the chance.
How about Andrew Mangiapane there? I know that Jack and Bob were talking a bit about his energy level in that opening frame. I mean, he's got to get on the score sheet some way, and he's been doing that the wrong way in games that we've seen where he takes a bad penalty. I didn't really have a problem with the penalty that he took there.
Well, I mean, he took someone off with him. The Oilers will do that all day long. Normally, a 4-on-4 is like a power play for the Oilers. It's more ice for Connor and Leon. He's been an irritant in this game, and this is what they expected from Mangiapane right from the beginning, and they haven't seen it enough. That period, you saw it, and when you've been in the press box as much as he has been as of late, you want to either play or be moved. To do that, be noticed. And I think that was the first time in a while that we've noticed Mangiapane in a hockey game, and he has gotten under the skin of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that is a good thing. We'll see going forward. He's got to do it within the boundaries of the game. He can't take a penalty. He can't put the Oilers down shorthanded, but taking someone off with him, the Oilers will take that all day long.
Yeah, absolutely they will. Now, in terms of finding a little separation on the score sheet here, Rob, what would you like to see Edmonton adjust into periods 2 and 3 to find some lanes through to the net, perhaps, or just a little more offense than we saw?
Well, the Leafs did a good job of taking away shooting lanes, getting sticks in the way. A couple times, the Oilers, Trent Frederick, for example, is coming down the far wing. Looks like he has time and space, and somehow a Maple Leaf defender gets his stick just in at the last second. Mangiapane has a partial breakaway off a nice steal in the neutral zone, and Matthews gets back, and he's able to lift the stick at the last second. So the Oilers have had chances, and then another great one at the end near the end of the period. Stastny on an unbelievable behind-the-back pass from Draisaitl to Stastny. He beats 2 players. Stastny has all the time in the world, but he took too long, and he's actually very fortunate. Nylander came and stripped him from behind, and the puck kind of bobbled, or Nylander was gone 2-on-1 for the length of the ice. And that was a play where Stastny had the puck on his stick for 3 seconds and didn't get rid of it. So I think the biggest thing, the Oilers have to change the shooting angle. So that means when you're coming in, just a little bit of a fake the shot, move about a foot and shoot in a different angle and shoot quicker. I think that every time you get the puck, that hesitation allows the goaltender to set, but it also allows the defender to get into the proper shooting lane.
He's a big goaltender in net too. Covers a lot of it. 6'6" is Stolarz. So
and he's not a skinny 6'6". He's tipping him at 250. That is a big goalie that covers a lot. Keep putting pucks on net. The best play of the period was the Leon Draisaitl backhand pass over to Zach Hyman. And that was a great save. I mean, Stoller, but give Stoller's credit. He read, okay, Draisaitl's on his backhand. It's not coming on net. It's going across the crease. He read it going across the crease. And by the time Hyman got it, Stollers was already there. So good on him. Keep shooting. Nine shots is not enough. And 8 shots again for the Leafs isn't enough. Both goaltenders look locked in. It's going to need more volume from each team if they want to create a little bit of offense against 2 goaltenders that are on top of their games.
As the Oilers try to chisel out a victory in the front half of an all-Canadian back-to-back set. That is our Rob Brown. More from Brownie in the second intermission. Right now we're through 20 minutes of play. We're scoreless, and this is your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
Rogers is Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network, so you can stream Edmonton Oilers games and see Leon scoring in Leduc. Watch Ty tie things up in Tofield. Or check out Connor doing Connor things in Kalmar. And even catch boost bombs in Beaumont. Try saying that 3 times fast. Rogers, this is our game.
Going back to school can be as scary as taking the winning shot, but it doesn't have to be. Northern Lakes College is here to help you meet all your goals and cheer you on. Explore programs in academic upgrading, apprenticeship trades, business and administrative studies, health, human services careers, resource technology, university studies, and more, including a wide range of programming available through continuing education. Score a great future with Northern Lakes College. NorthernLakesCollege.ca. What's stopping you?
As the official medical imaging provider to the Edmonton Oilers, MIC ensures precision in every shot. And if you need medical imaging attention, you can count on MIC to get you back in the game. Whether it's a classic wrist shot, that is, X-ray, soft tissue scan, or advanced imaging, MIC provides timely and expert diagnosis. So go where the pros go and book an appointment at any of their 15 convenient Edmonton and area locations. Learn more at mic.ca.
This is Global News at the first intermission. I'm Zach Ferguson. Tributes across Canada and the hockey community have embraced a small Alberta town where 3 junior hockey players died in a car crash trying to cross the divided highway to get to morning practice. Family members, friends, and former teammates say the 3 exceptional young men lived for the sport before their deaths at a highway entrance in Staveley. Jen Handley, the mayor of Nanton, says that such highway crossings are a fact of life for rural towns. Premier Danielle Smith says that she wants the province to be further consulted on those who are hired for judicial positions in Alberta, which has lawyers concerned. If not, the Premier says Alberta's government will not agree to provide the necessary funding to support any new judicial positions. Sean King with the Criminal Trial Lawyers Association believes this move could lead to a huge backlog in the courts. And former Prime Minister Stephen Harper has called for national unity and independence at the unveiling of his official portrait. Harper stressed that parties have to work together in order to preserve Canada for generations to come. I'm Zach Ferguson. Your next scheduled newscast will be at the second intermission on 880 CHED.
It's game on at City Ford. With an all-star lineup of 2025 Ford favorites, save up to $7,000 on Escapes, up to $8,000 on Bronco Sports, and up to $18,000 on F-150s. Plus, find 0% financing options available on all 3 vehicles. Score an all-star deal today and spin and win an iPad, Oilers merch, Costco card, even a trip to Mexico. Visit City Ford on the St. Albert Trail.
Do you have tickets to an upcoming event at Rogers Place that you can't attend? Donate your tickets to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation Seats for Kids program, presented by Eagle Builders. Seats for Kids provides unused game tickets for charities, allowing children and families to enjoy hockey at Rogers Place. And for many, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To be a part of the Seats for Kids program presented by Eagle Builders, please email edmonton@kidsupfront.com. That's edmonton@kidsupfront.com.
Our people, our team. It's what business owners almost always say is their most important resource. But strong businesses don't just find great people. They make sure their teams stay healthy, engaged, and performing at their best. A benefits plan from Alberta Blue Cross is more than just drug and dental. They support the whole person with flexible coverage levels that fit the size and circumstance of your business. Find a plan that gets results at ab.bluecross.ca.
This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Scoreless through 20 minutes here between the Oilers and Leafs, and it's time for the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. 7 games in the league tonight. The Blue Jackets up 3-0 on the Devils. Matthew Olivier scoring into an empty net there, and that was his second of the game. The Flyers up 3-2 on the Capitals in the dying minutes. Hurricanes 4-3 on the Sens in the dying couple of minutes as well. Just getting going in the third period. Lightning and Sabres tied at 1. Penguins up 3-2 on the Islanders. And a little later tonight, it's the Kraken visiting the Anaheim Ducks in a battle with some playoff implications, certainly, as you look at the standings out west here. Right about now, we will see the puck hit the ice down at Bakersfield. They are hosting the Calgary Wranglers tonight. And the Oil Kings are getting set to visit Medicine Hat tomorrow, rounding out what's been a bit of a lengthy road trip for them. First game in February, first of 11 games for the Oil Kings in the month of February. That's the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. Again, nothing to report here on the score sheet, but for a couple of penalties, but all square by the time we get going here again for second period action. That's where we head next. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer on the call. This is your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
You've been listening to At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network. OilCountry, the ultimate Oilers watch party, happens all season long. Attend Molson Canadian Oilers game day live throughout the season for your chance to win 2026-27 Edmonton Oilers season seats. Be there for the next game day live flight night for your chance to win a trip for 2 to watch the Oilers play in Los Angeles. Join us on February 4th at On the Rocks. For the full event schedule and to RSVP to the ultimate Oilers watch party, visit OilersGameDayLive.com.
Blue-collar work deserves big dollar perks. Get a heavy wallet with Heavy Metal Equipment and Rentals. Heavy Metal Equipment and Rentals is always growing. Right now, they're hiring heavy equipment technicians, EM servicemen, and maintenance supervisors. Apply if you're from here or across the country. Even if you're from the Rock, they want to talk. Visit HeavyMetalEquipment.ca to find your new career. Get a heavy wallet with Heavy Metal Equipment and Rentals, helping you move the earth.
Whether you're building a home, a community, or championship team, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens one step, one shift, one brick at a time. Coventry Homes, never done building. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers, proudly celebrating 50 years. Visit coventryhomes.ca.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Still looking for the icebreaker tonight. No score in the hockey game through 20 minutes of play. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you back in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Your Oilers 50-50 at $1.92 million and rising in support of every kid deserves a shot, removing barriers to sports and inspiring kids through the power of hockey. Here we go, McDavid and Matthews to start the second period. Shots were 9-8 Edmonton in the first. A dump in, and Ingram again aggressively plays it up the right-hand side. That crawled outside the line, and thus an offside call whistled against Toronto. No score in this hockey game, and the reason I bring that up, Bob, is on Saturday, that was just Edmonton's second loss all year in regulation when they get the first goal, whereas Toronto, it makes the least amount of difference of any team in the league. Their record is marginally better when they get the first goal, but it's not nearly as important as it is for Edmonton. Here's a chance. Matthews in off the rush, and it came out into the slot, and McMahon had a short shot that was kicked out by Ingram, who's been sneaky good tonight for Edmonton. McDavid capitalizing off a miscue from McCabe. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on his backhand hit the outside of the net. Tried to go short side with it. Hyman to McDavid in front. Mid-air swat by Nugent-Hopkins. Shrugged off by Stolarz. The rebound available and taken by Wallman. That was some hand-eye. And then Wallman had it stolen stolen by McMahon. Breakaway, left to right, over the line, denied. Connor Ingram holding strong. Centering pass, and Domi whistles one over the glove hand. Wallman had it stolen by McMahon, but he can't finish. And again, he's had some good games against Edmonton.
Your last man back like Jake Wallman, you got to make a play there. Make the easier play, tried to make the tough one.
Michelli to Nylander, shoveled toward Darnell Nurse, knocked down and right to Kapanen and over to Wallman. Remember, you can do a hand pass in your own zone. Here's Nurse, one touch on to Leon Draisaitl left wing. McMahon stopped on a breakaway by Ingram, and then Draisaitl almost gave it away to Michelli for another way rush. Stastny back to corral the puck in his own zone, and here comes Edmonton right to left. Draisaitl building speed through the neutral zone, hits the line and got through a check from Stetcher. Cut off by Ekman Larsson down low, and now centering pass. Kapanen could not drag it to his forehand. If he's a left-handed shot, he has a much better chance to convert. Stastny to Emberson, quick up and on target for Kapanen. Now Vasily Podkolzin puts the brakes on, centers for Kapanen to the net, denied by Stolers. Kapanen eager to score against the team that, of course, drafted him, or no, excuse me, Pittsburgh drafted him, but he broke in with Toronto. Then he went back to Pittsburgh after a time. Nylander backhanded in deep. Didn't stick in Pittsburgh, claimed by the Oilers off of waivers from St. Louis. And when healthy, he's been very good here in Edmonton. Josh Szymanski driving it in for the Oilers from the neutral zone. Taken and played out by Benoit. Nick Waugh bounced it to center. Bouchard to Ekholm, who slaps it in. Around the boards, Nyes tried to usher it outside the zone, held in by Roslovic. Weakly to the high slot and taken away by Nick Robertson, the brother of Jason Robertson, left off the U.S. Olympic team. Edmonton wanted icing against the Leafs, didn't get the call. Szymanski did not get it out initially. He continues to work. He'll be heading to the Olympics with Leon Draisaitl as his German teammate. Hitting the line is Roslovic coming the other way for Matt Savoy. Tried to shovel one in front. That was deflected. Calle Yarncroke can't clear. Drive by Wallman on net, and Stolers makes the save. Rebound Janmark for the Oilers. Mangiapane comes over to help. After a good first period, you heard Bob talk about it. Mangiapane feeds the point. Nurse a shot. Save Stolers. Rebound Lawrence. Right side for Yarncroke. From center ice, he'll hit the line. Here's Lawton, wrist shot. Fought off by Ingram. The Go Leafs Go chant goes up. Now a Let's Go Oilers counter chant arises. As Mangiapane takes a block shot, moves it quickly for Nurse on his backhand. Tried to tuck it in front. That was broken up. Short side, Stolers gave it a look. Eventually emerging with puck possession. Matthews turned it over. Quick shot to save. And again, Mangiapane was involved, but he was stopped by Stolers. Toronto breaking out. Matthews that time with a giveaway. And again created by Mangiapane, who's played a good game tonight. Ekman Larsson will shoot it in for Toronto. A highly motivated player. Ingram didn't get enough on that clear. Domi tries to center. That's deflected. And now you've got Frederick up through center, going down in a heap, and apparently shaken up was McDavid. Did he get high stick? Drop past Domi. He'll drop it off. Open man. And then an extra pass made by McMahon looking for Matthews was broken up. Matthews was all alone sitting side door.
That was Carlo that got a big piece of McDavid. Let's keep an eye on that.
Lead pass. Well, Carlo will answer the bell up the right-hand side. Centering pass and a quick shot in front. What an opportunity for Nugent Hopkins. Steered aside by Stolers. Rebound to center, taken by McDavid. Drop pass. Nugent Hopkins wired it. Rebound banked in off of Stolers and just stayed out. Banked right in front by McDavid, who almost had Stolers backing into his own net. An attempted poke check by Stolers. Freed up for Bouchard by McDavid. Slap pass in front. Unable to get a tip on it was Hyman. And now we're going to have a fight. And Nurse is going to have Brandon Carlo answer the bell. Top of the circle in the Toronto zone. Overhand right Nurse. A pair of 25s going at it. Uppercut Nurse. Right hand Darnell Nurse. Glancing uppercut. Carlo thunders back with a couple of right hands. A right hook. An uppercut from Nurse. Nurse another uppercut. Eats a right hand and then nails Carlo with a hard right hand as they tumble to the ice. Darnell Nurse went after Brandon Carlo and caught him with a big right hand late in the fight.
Well, I'll give Carlo credit for taking the fight. He had been out there probably an extra 25 to 30 seconds when the Oilers made the change.
Brandon Carlo from Colorado Springs, Darnell Nurse from Hamilton.
And as you know, the Oilers, had they held the second-round pick, remember they traded the 16 and the 33 to the New York Islanders. I believe Edmonton was taking, well, Craig Matavich said yesterday they were taking Joel Eriksson Ek at 16. I believe Carlo was going to be their pick in the second round that year. And he went second round to Boston, a couple picks after that.
Nurse with good strategy in that fight as Carlo kept that chin tucked. So Nurse came up with the uppercut and then right at the end of the fight tagged him with a pretty good right hand. Carlo, for the most part, not a lot of offense, although he threw some right hooks that landed in glancing fashion. And then Nurse's last right hand appeared to get through fairly cleanly. Got him with a right uppercut and a straight right near the end of the fight.
You got to love the response from Darnell Nurse stepping up for Connor McDavid there.
Draisaitl against Scott Lawton. And Carlo was ready for it. He knew he'd be answering the bell. A clear by the Leafs off the draw. Nylander to Järnkrok. Drag move. His shot completely stuffed by Ekholm. Now Podkolzin looking for Ekholm. Swinging at the puck and then backhanding it off the body of Troy Stecher. Up the right-hand side. Stolen by Podkolzin. Left for Ekholm. Trying to clear was Järnkrok. Swept around the boards. Hard hit on Stecher. And that allows Edmonton to maintain offensive zone possession. Here's Bouchard. Hard to the net. Protecting on his backhand. Gives it up for Ekholm. Then played to Draisaitl. Across Bouchard, a shot. And Stolarz was square to the shooter and issued no rebound. Podkolzin late setting a screen in front as he was entangled with Scott Lawton. Nearly 6 minutes gone. Second period, the Oilers and the Leafs. No score at Rogers Place.
And the Oilers have created some looks here off of ozone cycles against Toronto. Of course, the Carlo trade has become much maligned in Leaf Nation, and part of it stems from the fact that Fraser Minton was the reigning Rookie of the Month. And they traded a lottery-protected first-rounder to Boston in that trade. Ouch. Ouch.
Coming up the left-hand side, Matthew Nyes from the circle, flicks a wrist shot wide. Swept around up the right-hand side for Roslovic. Cut off at center by Nicholas Waugh. Tries to find a wide-open Nick Robertson, but his pass was off the mark. Robertson then checked by Wallman against the corner boards as Toronto looks to go to work on the cycle in the offensive zone. A battle won by Robertson. A drive by Myers does not make its way through. Rebound Roslovic leaves it for Emberson. 13:30 to go in the second period. Still no score in this hockey game. Shots 15-13 Oilers. Robertson, a dart on target. Unable to get it in deep, though, Matthew Nyes. Quickly cleared up through center. Stecher fell down, bumped it ahead from Machelli. A wrist shot blocked away by Ingram, and that was a good-looking wrist shot. Here's Mangiapane the other way for Edmonton. Poked off his stick, and here's Nylander. And then Edmonton caught in a change. Nylander, left circle, loads and shoots, save, rebound, and somehow that stayed out. Ingram might have gotten a piece of Machelli's rebound after staring down. Nylander now a deflected puck in front, and Toronto's taken a 1-0 lead. A perfect high slot tip by Matias Machelli, who had had a couple of good looks previously, and it's 1-0 for Toronto. Machelli has scored on back-to-back nights. His ninth comes at 7:12 of the second.
Oilers had the puck inside the blue line, and unfortunately for Edmonton, Mangiapane got stripped. They started the transition back. Edmonton made an absolutely abysmal line change. And
what a tip by Machelli.
It was a good tip, but turn the puck over. Edmonton had the puck back behind their goal. Fifth time in this game they turned the puck over, and that was the difference.
McCabe let the shot fly, and Machelli, who was deep in the right circle and not necessarily on the path to the net, was able to redirect that to his right and through Connor Ingram, his former teammate, of course, in Arizona. Up the right-hand side, churning the legs. Cross ice pass, Frederick to Janmark. Draisaitl to the net, denied by Stolarz. Rebound, flip just wide. Janmark and Stastny with a look at Stolarz. Frederick to Draisaitl, checked by Benoit. Behind the net. Under control and shoveled up top by Frederick. Stastny takes a shot. That bounds off the boards. Draisaitl to Frederick. A snapshot blockered away by Stolarz. Rebound punched back to center. And now McMahon trying to fight through a check from Emberson. He does. A backhander short side. A save made by Ingram. Bobby McMahon, another determined effort in his home province. 8 minutes gone. Second period. And Toronto has taken a 1-0 lead. The tip in by Matthias Maccelli, and boy, does he somehow find a way to bug Edmonton whenever he's in the lineup. You and I always thought he was a good player when he played for the Coyotes, who always seemed to show up against the Oilers on some bad Coyote teams. Edmonton dump in. McCabe under control for Toronto, emerging from his own zone left to right. Flipped in by Lawrence. Lawton and Yarncroke in on the forecheck. Waved at. Nugent-Hopkins could not get it out. Here's Lawton, a quick shot and a save by Ingram. Boy, that came loose in the slot. And Ingram, a reactionary stop. And again, what I would call a sneaky good save, because that bid from Lawton seemingly coming out of nowhere. Toronto has drawn first blood. It's 1-0. Maccelli from McCabe at 7:12 of the second period. And we got a potential situation where Janmark is just going to get a little equipment from Darnell Nurse, who continues to sit in the box after his spirited tilt with Brandon Carlo. 1-0, second period. Toronto the lead. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Education is more than books and classrooms. It's about you. At Portage College, they partner with you to turn dreams into real opportunities. Whether you're starting your educational journey or changing careers, learn more by visiting portagecollege.ca. It's about you.
OilCountry, the ultimate Oilers watch party, happens all season long. Attend Molson Canadian Oilers game day live throughout the season for your chance to win 2026-27 Edmonton Oilers season seats. For the next Game Day Live Flag Night for your chance to win a trip for two to watch the Oilers play in Los Angeles. Join us on February 4th at On the Rocks. For the full event schedule and to RSVP to the ultimate Oilers watch party, visit OilersGameDayLive.com.
During every Oilers game day, the Canadian Brewhouse is your hockey headquarters. Cheer on the blue and orange, surrounded by fans as passionate as you are, while sipping $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. And that's not all. Every game day, you can enter to win Oilers home game tickets. So grab your crew, grab a seat, and make the Canadian Brewhouse your go-to spot this hockey season. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Matthias Maccelli with a tip in of a Jake McCabe shot from the point. And the Edmonton Oilers have fallen behind 1-0 here at Rogers Place. Now, the good news is 2 of Edmonton's 6 wins this year, when they don't get the first goal, have come on this homestand. So they've had some recent success. But the bad news is they've been first goal dependent. And Maccelli now with 5 career goals against Edmonton in only 10 games. And trust me, he is not a 40-goal pace guy. He's a good player, but he's not that. Career high 17. Nick Wall off the face-off. Robertson entangled. Emberson forces it up for Josh Szymanski, and now Matt Savoy right wing into the attacking zone. Ekman Larsson fell down. Robertson with a secondary layer of support, and Philip Myers with possession of the puck for Toronto. Nick Wall calmly lofts it out to that kickoff glass. They're saying it did. Edmonton trying to sell a potential delay of game call. The Oilers have had the one power play. And again, we talked about it. In a game involving Toronto, don't expect a lot of power plays. The Leafs haven't gotten a power play in 3 of their last 4 games. But they don't get called for many either.
I don't think Edmonton's power play has been as good on this homestand either.
No, 4 for 24.
Yeah.
In their last 9 games. Well, that's 16%. For them, that's a slump.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, those are similar numbers that have happened in the last 2 Stanley Cup finals, where their power play wasn't good enough against Florida.
Max Domi Up to Stetcher, left-hand side. McCabe. A little change of pace against Emberson does not work. Draisaitl drops over. Couldn't make a play. Now Wallman ducks out of danger. Gets it back from Podkolzin. And the Oilers look to bust out. Here's Emberson hitting the line. Draisaitl trying to plow his way through McMahon. Cross ice, Wallman. Shot wide. Rebound. Draisaitl on his backhand. Checked by Matthews. Brushed off his stick. He'll regain. Draisaitl protecting, forcing it down low, Podkolzin circling the Toronto net. Oilers looking to get this game tied. They trail 1-0, and we're just about halfway through the hockey game. Draisaitl snap pass tipped away by Matthews. Rebound in the corner. Left by Wallman behind the net. McCabe up the left-hand side. McMahon a couple of chances to get it out the second time he does. Then a steal on Kapanen allows Stetcher to move it up. McMahon couldn't handle the pass, and it slugged the other way for Ekholm. McDavid on to Podkolzin, but rolling over with a late change. Stetcher able to clear back to center ice for Toronto. Leafs looking for their third straight win. On this road trip, they've beaten Vancouver in a shootout and Calgary 4-2 last night in regulation. Hyman is shot deep from the left circle, and that's tipped out of play with 9:28 to go in the second period. Nurse and Carlo are now eligible to return. We'll take a break and come back with more second period play-by-play. It's Toronto 1, Edmonton no score. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber. And now they call you an HVAC technician. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to install furnaces. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Steelhaus Triton, two legendary oilfield services brands, one powerful partnership. Rooted in innovation, reliability, and a steadfast commitment to excellence, Steelhaus is proudly 100% Canadian-owned and locally manufactured. With over 15 field service locations across the prairies and up to the Rockies, they deliver world-class energy solutions with unmatched responsiveness, helping their customers thrive in the most demanding environments. Steelhaus Triton, engineered for performance, built in Canada. Visit steelhausinc.com for more information.
Edmonton knows great teams. For over 60 years, Chemco has helped build Canadian industry and invest in communities nationwide. Employee-owned and operated, and with over 2,500 skilled tradespeople, Chemco delivers complete solutions as one partner with many strengths. From engineering to construction, commissioning to maintenance, safely and on schedule, coast to coast. Chemco cares, and a commitment to quality, safety, and community drives lasting impact nationally and locally. Learn more at chemco.com. Chemco, building industry, building Canada.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Pretty even game. Toronto with 19 shots on net. Edmonton 18. The difference, a Matthias Maccelli tip in at the 7:12 mark of the second period. Bob, moving forward, Oilers' last 29 minutes. What do you see? What do you want to see most improve?
Less defensive zone turnovers. Don't feed the Toronto attack. Get pucks in. And you got to be...
You're not going to say get pucks in deep. You're not allowed to say that.
I'm going to say when you get in the offensive zone, get the puck to the net. And too many one-and-dones in front of the net. No competitiveness. Fighting for time and space.
Nylander against Nugent-Hopkins. Cleared up Tavares, and now Nylander. And backhanded in by Maccelli. The difference in the game. And he didn't even play. He was a healthy scratch in the prior matchup between Toronto and Edmonton back in December. Pinching in left-hand side is Hyman off an Oiler dump in. Tavares had it stolen by Nugent-Hopkins. Here's a second chance for Hyman. Got through Carlo loose in front. Comes out to Bouchard. Dishes off one-timer to sprawling Stollers. Makes the save on Connor McDavid, who set up in Leon Draisaitl's office. And Stollers somehow able to push off that right skate and make a lunging stop.
That was a good stop from Stollers. The only question I have is, was it going wide? And I I think Bouchard, it was not going wide, but I think Bouchard's got to shoot it.
Top left corner. I thought that was top left corner for a guy who's obviously been blistering, sitting on 15 goals and 60 points for the year.
Yeah, just keep shooting, Evan.
And it's interesting, we're talking about, well, you'd rather have Bouchard shoot it than McDavid, who, of course, leads the team in a second in the NHL with 34 goals. But on that particular opportunity from the slot, looked like a clean look. Here's a drive by Wallman that beats Stollers. He never saw it. Posted in, and Edmonton's tied it.
Did you see it?
Wallman, an absolute blast. Back bar and down. And this game is tied. I don't think the players on the ice saw it.
I almost thought it went in through the side of the net initially. I'm like...
Off the draw, played back. And a drive that just buried itself in the back of the net. Just an absolute... And it looked like it was deflected. Szymanski and Roslovic were setting screens in front of Anthony Stollers.
Well, that was a howitzer, and that's what Wallman can do for him. He can shoot the pill.
No, it skipped off Stollers, the top of his left pad, I believe. And skipped off that pad and went upstairs. Tie game. I think it's going to be Wallman's goal, which would be his fifth. Here's a turnover, a backhander score. And Matthew Nyes, just 9 seconds after Edmonton had tied the game, regains the lead for Toronto. Nicholas Waugh made the steal. Matthew Nyes buries it. 2-1 Leafs.
Just brutal communication. Connor Ingram's got to make a better play at the puck. He put it to no man's land there to Darnell Nurse. Tough pickup.
Nyes with his 14th from Nicholas Waugh. And the Edmonton fortune lasts all of 9 seconds.
Just brutal. Self-induced mistake from the Oilers.
Wallman scores 9 seconds later. Turnover. And it's fed in front. A drive from distance off the draw once again by Wallman is kicked aside by goaltender Anthony Stollers. Now Roslovic, having made a steal deep in the corner, tried to center. That pass was intercepted. Nick Robertson on his backhand attempts to clear, knocked down and held in by Darnell Nurse. Benoit wrapped up. Josh Szymanski will get a second NHL assist. Nifty dangle by Kapanen as he tried to draw to his backhand. Kapanen is another guy that stuck out for me in this game for Edmonton. Stastny, open man Nurse, left point shot, booted aside by Stollers. Rebound Kapanen, sharp angle. That deflected off a multitude of skates and finally flipped wide. Janmark able to come with it down low. Here's Frederick, wraparound effort, saves Stollers. Right now, Edmonton all over the Leafs. Unable to clear was Myers. Held in by a combination of Emberson and Stastny, who returns behind the net. Lots of room, waiting, centering, and that was deflected and finally hoisted down the middle of the ice. Good clear by Myers. No icing call. Emberson a strike, trying to catch the Leafs in a change. A giveaway by Benoit. Here's Draisaitl with Podkolzin running to the front of the net. Draisaitl shooting, missed. Short side. Rebound Podkolzin. Toronto's exhausted. Podkolzin to Draisaitl. Stollers would love to freeze this puck if he can. Ekholm will give it up. Podkolzin to Bouchard. One-timer Draisaitl on a blocked shot. And Benoit's hurt. He'll labor to get up as Draisaitl. Send it fishtailing around the end boards to Podkolzin. 6.5 to go. In the second period, Draisaitl centering pass. Blocked by Benoit. Rebound to Podkolzin. Hard off of Stollers. Off the glass and down the ice. Toronto will rush to get a change. Edmonton again tries to catch the Leafs in it, but Draisaitl couldn't handle the lead pass. Steal by Bouchard. Draisaitl again against Stetcher. Quick shot, saves Stollers. Rebound in Toronto's skates and finally flipped forced out of there by Austin Matthews, poised as can be. Bouchard at center ice for McDavid. Open man. Hyman gives it up. One-timer and belted wide by Nugent Hopkins. Great zone keep by Bouchard. Down low and twisted by Stetcher up the boards for Ekholm. He'll turn and give it up for Bouchard. In the middle of the ice, not handled by Nugent Hopkins and iced by Toronto with 5:47 to go. This is Edmonton's best sequence of the game. The last 3 or 4 minutes, consistent pressure. Toronto, for now, able to withstand it.
Oilers got to hit the net. They've had lots of grade A opportunities here.
Face off to the right of Anthony Stolarz, who's been peppered. 2 goals in 9 seconds. Edmonton tying it, and then Nyes untying it. Leafs, Stetcher. Golfed it out of there off the draw. Toronto forces it inside the Edmonton line, and now the Leafs are finally able to complete a full change. Wallman to McDavid. He turned it over. Given right back, though, at center ice by Michelli. Oilers force it in. McDavid forechecking. Turned up by Matthews. Here's Michelli. He can fly. Left-hand side, McCabe. Nurse rolls over with coverage. Puck played back behind the net. Nylander cut off by Wallman. Nurse gives it back to Wallman. 2-1 Toronto. 5 minutes to play, second period. Here come the Oilers right to left. Nugent Hopkins has it knocked down by Stetcher out of midair. Stetcher plays it off the glass, and Nurse will have to regroup at center. Edmonton's got to tag back up and change. Nurse turned it over at center. Just flubbed it. Here's a quick dish by Tavares, who's been a non-factor. He gave it away. Sent in deep. Savoy, plenty of speed. Catches up to it. Tried to center. Deflected. Stolarz has no idea where it was. It actually sneaked 5-hole on him and came to rest on the goal line. And Tavares made sure it went no further. 4:39 to go in the second period. The Leafs with some good luck the other night in Calgary. Once again, Stolarz bailed out with help from his veteran center iceman, John Tavares. 2-1 for the Leafs. Matthew Nyes, the go-ahead goal. Jake Wallman, the only man to beat Anthony Stolarz tonight. It's 2-1 Toronto, and this is 4 Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. Big skies, rugged landscapes. Now that's Alberta in a nutshell. And if you're looking for an SUV that can keep up with this place, check out the Ford Bronco. Built for those who crave adventure, with serious off-road capability and style to spare. Whether you're hitting the mountain trails or exploring the back roads, it's the perfect ride for those who want to experience everything this province has to offer. The Ford Bronco. Adventure awaits at your Alberta Ford dealer. And tell them PB sent you.
Can an energy provider make you feel carefree? We think so, because who doesn't like to be surrounded by good energy? Great rates always. Gimmicks never. Perks that reward your loyalty and energy experts who know what's what. Carefree just feels good. Encore by EPCOR, your carefree electricity and natural gas provider.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Cybersecurity is not just IT, it's a business issue. One breach can halt operations and permanently damage trust. Business leaders choose AltTech because they understand the stakes. Their specialists design cyber-first IT systems that protect productivity, safeguard data, and support growth. From construction to nonprofits, Canadian organizations rely on AltTech to stay resilient in a digital-first world. Secure operations, strong reputation, sustainable growth. That is AltTech. Visit altech.ca. That's ALT-TECH.ca.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
2-1 hockey game in favor of Toronto. 4.5 to go, second period. Bob Stauffer to my right as we're live on 880 Chat and the Oilers Radio Network. Front end of a back-to-back. Oilers will be in Calgary tomorrow night, as the puck inadvertently off the draw, laid off the glass and out of play by Matthias Ekholm. All 3 goals in this second period after a scoreless first, including 2 in 9 seconds. Machelia tip in. Wallman beats Stolars from the point, and then Matthew Nyes 9 seconds later took advantage of an Ingram turnover and took a pass from Nicholas Waugh and buried it to give Toronto a 2-1 lead. Here's Ekholm down low. Leafs on the second of a back-to-back tonight. Oilers will be looking at the same fate tomorrow. Lead pass on target. Played by Lawton up the right-hand side. Settled by Ekholm. Will shovel it back in. Deflected. Stolars hastily moves it over. And Ekman Larson finds an off-balance Troy Stetcher. Now Lawton, little give and go. The return pass is stolen by Draisaitl. Snatched back by Lawton. Centering pass on a one-timer. Crushed off the pad of Ingram by Robertson. Settled by McCabe after an Edmonton dump-in. Once more, the Leafs turned aside at the Edmonton line. Robertson, top of the right circle. Off a deflected skate. Challenges Szymanski, gives it up. Carlo, an awkward pass behind Max Domi and intercepted by Bouchard. He'll locate Matthias Ekholm, and now it's a reload for Edmonton as once again the crowd rises in unison.
Too many giveaways tonight from Edmonton.
That game's an 8 o'clock game, by the way, tomorrow, Bob.
Yeah.
So get your caffeine going.
Well, like that's a problem.
Up the left-hand side. Here's Emerson. Taken away by Carlo. And now recovered by McMahon. Neutral zone. Whiffed on by Myers. He tried to atone for that and brushed it free for McMahon. Wedged back in by Domi, and the Leafs go to work in the offensive zone with 2:45 to play in the second period. 2-1 for the Leafs. Myers got caught in a pinch against Savoy, then was able to reel it in against Connor McDavid. Oilers wanted a potential stick infraction there. There's just been one power play in the entire game. Edmonton failed to cash in. Great fight between Nurse and Carlo earlier as well. Lead pass right-hand side. Big hit on Hyman at the echo of a whistle. That's actually a clean play by Benoit. The whistle sounded and Benoit was already there. That's a late whistle. That's more the officials than Benoit in my estimation. At least that's how I saw it. An offside whistled against Edmonton as Hyman was in prematurely. I think the officials put Hyman in a tough spot there. That was a late whistle.
I'd have Trent Frederick replace Hyman here with Benoit still on the ice.
You disagree with me?
No, I got no problem. It's a hard, tough hit. Protect your players. I guess you can't.
Well, and Nurse did.
Yep.
Nurse definitely did, and Carlo answered the bell.
But the Oilers need, you know what, Wallman, that was an important goal for him. Matthews has got an issue with his left skate here. Edmonton's probably had 12 or 13 defensive zone giveaways. Both Leafs goals, direct result of poor puck play, a bad line change, and then poor puck play from the Oilers in their D zone. And then Ingram just giving away a goal after Edmonton tied it.
Edmonton's best sequence was after that Ingram giveaway. They outplayed the Leafs significantly for the next 4 to 5 minutes, but have nothing to show for it. Oilers bang it in deep. Janmark out there with Frederick and Draisaitl. Here's Janmark in close quarters.
That's a hook that they did not
Matthews able to jab it off the stick. Here's Draisaitl against Tavares. Feeds the point. Drive Wallman, save Stolars. Rebound kept alive by Janmark. Put it off the half wall for Draisaitl. A little spin move. Beat Austin Matthews to the net. Centering pass broken up. Leafs can't get it out. Wallman controlling up top. Nurse directs a pass, and now Frederick looked for a give and go with Draisaitl. Janmark setting a net front screen. Here's an opening for Nurse. A shot off an ankle in front and iced by Toronto's William Nylander. 1:28 to go in the second period, and now you've got an opportunity to maybe load up everybody here. Here comes Ekholm and Bouchard. How are the Oilers going to play this here? Nugent Hopkins is out with McDavid and Hyman, so they're just going to go with a regular top line. Draisaitl had been out for the prior shift. Still a good opportunity for Edmonton against a tired Toronto fivesome. McDavid against Tavares. Face off to the right of Anthony Stollers, who's made 26 saves. Looking to even his career record against Edmonton at 2-2. A clear by Matthews, and now a lead pass. Nylander sets Tavares loose, a shot, and he missed. Tried to beat him high blocker. McDavid to Ekholm. Hyman is at the line. Ekholm drops it off Nugent-Hopkins, and then he looked for Hyman. Cross ice. That was broken up. Tavares will skate to the red line and dump it in with a minute to play in the second period. Ingram allows it to come inside the trapezoid. Rolled it up the right-hand side. McDavid booted it loose. Hyman stole it from Robertson, and now McDavid will challenge Jake McCabe. He plows into him. Hyman had it stripped, and now Nyes able to clear. Nicholas Waugh tried to thread it through, batted down by Bouchard, who has tremendous hand-eye. Nicholas Waugh dumps it in. Stastny up the right-hand side. Draisaitl on his backhand. In stride for Nugent-Hopkins. He'll stroke it in from the red line with 25 seconds to play in the period. Myers got away with a shaky pass to McCabe. Returned to him. Myers is a right-handed player and whistled it, just hammered it off the boards inexplicably. And that's another icing call against Toronto. And Robertson and Knives are bent over at the knees. Edmonton, if it so chooses, can load up, but it looks like, what are we going to have here? For the final 15 seconds, you've got Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Kapanen, so they're just playing it straight up here. Face off to the right of Stollers. Toronto just trying to survive the final 15 seconds here. They're a bit gassed. Waugh against Draisaitl. And Waugh is able to win the faceoff. Myers, again, will ice the puck. Not quite sure what he's doing. 8 seconds to go. I mean, both plays, Bob, he was not under pressure and just fired it down the ice.
He's got a lot of confidence in the faceoff circle here.
I guess. I mean, do you agree?
Yes.
Those are strange plays because he's got lots of time. Here's Nicholas Waugh against Draisaitl this time. 7.7 officially. Second period, Leafs 2, Oilers 1. Walman the only Edmonton goal. Draisaitl won the draw. Kapanen couldn't get a shot away. Nick Waugh will clear. 3 seconds. Matthew Nyes in front, and Robertson had it roll off the toe of his stick. That was there. If he catches up to that puck cleanly, Toronto's going to have a last-second look at the horn. As it is, Edmonton, despite 18 shots in that second period, falls behind by a score of 2-1. Shots were 18-13 in the middle frame, 27-21 for the game in favor of the Oilers, but the miscue by Ingram leads to Matthew Nyes' go-ahead goal, his 14th of the year, and by that margin, Toronto will take a 2-1 lead into the dressing room. The good news for the Oilers is they have 5 wins. That's the second most when trailing after 2 periods. The even better news is Toronto has blown 7 leads when entering the third period. That's the most in the league. So this game far from over at 2-1 Toronto.
I thought Edmonton tilted the ice after the Maple Leaf 2-1 goal. They won a lot of puck battles. Leafs playing the second back-to-back, not the most explosive team.
Starting to catch up to them, you think?
Yeah, but Edmonton's still got to manage the puck better. I mean, they've given away both goals in this game, Jack, and that can't happen. And just the whole sequence on the 2-1 goal. You've just worked your ass off to tie the game, okay? And Ingram either just leave the puck and let the defenseman play it or be sure of it. But don't put it in no man's land and it gets stripped, and then you're basically beat back to the front of the net and it's in the net. So some work to do here from the Oilers in the third. They're at 27 shots. I think they're going to have to get to 40 to win the game.
Josh Szymanski, by the way, the rookie, a fresh call-up, assists in each of his last 2 games. He's, again, heading to the Olympics to join countryman Leon Draisaitl and play for Team Germany. And now the Oilers are 20 minutes away from either a 5-3 3-3 or a 4-4 homestand. It feels like a big difference, and Calgary looming tomorrow night. That will not be a gimme. It rarely is in the Battle of Alberta. That's Oilers Flames tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Mountain. Again, Bob and I will have the call for you, but first things first, we've got Brendan Escott and Rob Brown on the other side. 20 minutes to play in downtown Edmonton, with the Leafs leading the Oilers 2-1. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Our people, our team. It's what business owners almost always say is their most important resource. But strong businesses don't just find great people. They make sure their teams stay healthy, engaged, and performing at their best. A benefits plan from Alberta Blue Cross is more than just drug and dental. They support the whole person with flexible coverage levels that fit the size and circumstance of your business. Find a plan that gets results at ab.bluecross.ca.
It's our YEG with 880 Chad.
Avast mateys. 880 Chad and Jubilation's Dinner Theater invite you to sail the musical tides with Pirates of the River Saskatchewan Listener Appreciation Night on February 18th. Your treasure awaits at 880ched.com. Then the Red Wine is set to flow as pop legends UB40 hit the stage at Midway Music Hall for their Unstoppable Tour on October 13th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.
For details on these and more events, visit 880ched.com. This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Looked like a clean look. Here's a drive by Wallman that beats Stolarz. He never saw it. Posted in, and Edmonton's tied it.
Did you see it?
Wallman, an absolute blast. Back bar and down. And this game is tied.
For all of 9 seconds, the game was tied. And then Toronto came in and piled one into the nets. But that is our highlight zone. It's brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos with 3 great locations in Edmonton, St. Albert, and next to Edmonton International Airport. Welcome to the winner's zone. 3 goals scored, 2 by the Maple Leafs, 1 by your Edmonton Oilers. In that middle frame, we sit 2-1 through 40 minutes of play. Brendan Escott and Rob Brown were high above ice level at Rogers Place, and that was a bit of a different tone and tenor to that frame, Rob, or at least in the sense that they were able to find Twine. What was your assessment there?
Well, it became high event. The first period, it was medium event. It wasn't a completely quiet first period. We had a couple big saves by the goaltenders, but in the second period, a lot of mistakes by both teams. Wallman gets stripped at the blue line, wide open breakaway. Mangiapane turns over the puck inside the blue line, 2-on-1. I can't remember who got stripped down by the boards here. I think it was Emberson or Sassy. It was a third pairing defenseman, and Nees walks in by himself. So there was a lot of big mistakes by the Oilers that cost them goals. I mean, the goal, Ingram, I'm not sure I'm as harsh on Ingram on the turnover. He put it to a spot, and it was a tough play for Nurse. I give that. But then you still got numbers back. You've got to pick up players. The Oilers didn't do that. And then on the other hand, the Oilers created chances. The Toronto Maple Leafs got caught trying to get the puck out, not doing it hard, making, hope plays. And the Oilers kept play alive over and over and over again. And the one thing that I've seen so far in this game, the Oilers can get to the third pairing of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Philip Myers and Simon Benoit, especially Myers. I mean, great example. Myers got stuck out for a long shift and iced the puck 3 straight times.
Yeah, that was
at the very end. I mean, without anybody on him. And in the last one, he fired it 100 miles an hour. It wasn't even like it just got there. So what happened is the Oilers are getting offensive pressure against the third pairing, and they're able to change. And now all of a sudden the Oilers' first or second line is coming on the ice against a third pairing, and we saw the mismatch when Connor and or Leon was on the ice. So high event for a period. But the one thing, and you talked about it there, is the Oilers fight their way back. They get a secondary goal because it's from the bottom 6 to tie the game up, and it lasted 9 seconds. That hurts. You don't even they hadn't even announced the goal in here in Rogers, and already the Toronto Maple Leafs were going back up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's a deflating deflating turn of events for sure, but that was only about halfway through the period. So it's not like I think that that's going to hang over their head throughout the rest of the game, right? That should already be flushed from the system even after a few minutes. Disappointing for sure. They're out shooting them and did quite substantially in that middle frame. 18-12 were the shots there. So on the game now, it's 27-20 on the shot clock for the Edmonton Oilers, and Toronto again has jumped in front of 13 shots so far tonight. So Edmonton they've done a pretty good job of generating toward goal, but can probably do even more so to try and disrupt some of what Anthony Stolarz has going on in net.
Wow, what a game he's having. He looks good. And I give credit to the Oilers in that period. There were a lot of pucks that were, deflected. There was bodies in front of him. A lot of chaos in and around the blue paint. Stolarz just was good. He was very good. He robbed McDavid on the backdoor one-timer. Yeah. He found pucks that were coming through, legs and bodies. He was able still to find them. So both goalies have been excellent. And the one thing that you're probably really disappointed in if you're an Oiler player is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mangiapane turns the puck over. He's got to get that deep. You are a fourth-line player. You get that puck deep. He turns it over. As the Oilers are changing, it's a 2-on-1. But on the 2-on-1, Connor Ingram made an unbelievable save after the shot, and it was a second shot that came, and it looked like a sure goal, wide open net. The puck goes in the corner, goes back to the point, and then seconds later, it's in the net. When your goalie gives you a save like that, you cannot afford to give up a goal right afterwards, because this place was going nuts, and you didn't get to enjoy it. The fans didn't get to get the energy into the bench, into the team, because you allowed a goal right away afterwards, and there was a big deflate.
Line changes, to me, this team. If I'm noticing a poor line change, that means it's egregious. And to me, Jake Wallman, it didn't directly lead to the goal, but it led to the zone entry that ultimately did lead to the goal. So,
well, that's one thing that the Oilers have been guilty of this year, and veteran players. And I think it was, 3 games ago, Wallman again on a line change, going the other way. The same thing. It was funny, when I played junior hockey, I played for a guy named Bill LaForge, and then I eventually played for Ken Hitchcock. But we would have practices where we would practice line change. So we would be on the ice playing, and then all of a sudden he'd blow the whistle, and you had to skate as hard as you get to the bench and jump on and off. And we would practice it over and over again, and we always thought it was silly. But we never got too many men on the ice plans. We never got caught on a bad line change. Those are important, and we've seen, and it's not young players that are making these mistakes. It's veteran players, and that cannot happen. As you said, the line change, Mangiapane doesn't get late, bad line change, and guess who's got the puck on a stick? Nylander. Yeah. I mean, it always seems like when you make a big mistake, it's Nylander or Matthews, or if it's the Leafs to make a mistake, there's Draisaitl or McDavid with the puck on their sticks. So in a game that we felt was going to be close, one mistake like that, it seems small, it seems subtle, but right now that's the difference in the hockey game.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So this is an Oilers effort. Now they're trying to turn it into a comeback, and the sooner they score this one, the better. It's well within reach, but you don't want to leave this to the dying minutes like they have in previous games. We'll see how this plays out in period number 3. That's our Rob Brown. More from Brownie in the post-game show coming up. Oilers overtime on 880 CHED. 780-451-8800 is the number to interact there. If you have anything that jumps to mind during the course of this third period or otherwise, let us know. We'll talk about it post-game. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard when we get back. This is your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $29.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Did you know that there are 9 Napa Auto Parts stores serving the greater Edmonton area and have been doing so for more than 50 years? Since Napa first opened in Edmonton, the community has grown and vehicles have changed, but you can always trust Napa Auto Parts to provide you with the expert know-how and the best vehicle parts. And if that isn't enough, every time you visit a Napa Auto Parts store when you present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more offers and expert know-how. Napa Auto Parts is a proud fan of the Edmonton Oilers.
Find more ways to save at Real Canadian Superstore. Unlock savings through always low-priced items, multi-save, club-size, fresh promise, hit of the month offers, ad match, and more. Find everything you need from grocery staples, fresh produce, prepared meals, and multicultural assortments to clothing, home, entertainment, health, and beauty. Plus, PC Optimum members save more. Open the PC Optimum app to load exclusive super coupons and weekly points offers. Real Canadian Superstore. Proudly Canadian. See weekly flyer for details.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plan starting at $29.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
This is Global News at the second intermission. I'm Zach Ferguson. Residents of Snavely say that they were left speechless by a crash that killed 3 junior hockey players. Yesterday's crash killed 3 Southern Alberta Mustangs players while they were on their way to practice. Family members, friends, and former teammates say that the 3 exceptional young men lived for the sport before their deaths. Development of Century Park has been in the works for roughly 20 years, and now the developer has another step towards getting the homes built. Today, a city council discussed a proposal presented by K&H Development to rezone the area. Council voted unanimously in favor to rezone it, which means the developers will create more efficient structures and let them develop the site within an 8 to 10 year timeline. Alberta set a new oil production record in 2025. Our total output reached 1.5 billion barrels last year, or about 4.1 million barrels per day, which is about a 4.2% increase from 2024. The increase was in large part due to the increased capacity provided by the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion. I'm Zach Ferguson. Your next scheduled newscast will be after the game on 880 CHED.
Rogers is Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network, so you can stream Edmonton Oilers games and see Leon scoring in Leduc. Watch Ty tie things up in Tofield. Unbelievable! Or check out Connor doing Connor things in Kalmar. And even catch boosh bombs in Beaumont. Try saying that 3 times fast. Rogers, this is our game.
As the new year begins, Freedom Ford invites customers to start 2026 with confidence. Freedom Ford is offering deals on remaining 2025 Ford models with limited time incentives, lease specials, and the return of low financing. Customers can come see the new 2026 Ford models, from the spacious Ford Explorer to the top safety-rated Ford F-150. Freedom Ford showcases vehicles built for winter roads, weekend travel, and everyday reliability. Come on by today and see the complete Ford lineup today at Freedom Ford. 40 years strong in Western Canada, Pizza 73 has been serving up the pizza you crave. From their famous pan pizzas and golden crispy wings to bold new creations like stuffed crust and the all-new volcano pizza, they keep bringing the flavor. Born in OilCountry, made in OilCountry, they're proud to be serving Edmonton since 1985. Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Order now at pizza73.com.
This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
2-1, the Maple Leafs leading things right now at Rogers Place. Let's go around the rest of the hockey world with the out-of-town scoreboards for Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. Kraken and Ducks just getting going about halfway through the first. They're scoreless. Blue Jackets beat the Devils 3-0. The Flyers doubled up the Capitals 4-2. Hurricanes 4-3 over the Sens. In overtime, Nikita Kucherov, good grief, he factored in on all 4 Lightning goals, including the overtime winner, 4-3 the final. The Lightning beat the Sabres, and in overtime it was the Islanders over the Penguins 5-4. Down on the farm, after 20 minutes of play in Bakersfield, the Wranglers and Condors are scoreless. Connor Unger in goal for that one. How about his play of late? Set the team record with 51 saves in one of the games against the Abbotsford Canucks over the weekend. Just impressive stuff from him. Wonder what he does as far as his future in the organization. Where does he sit in the pecking order? And tomorrow, it is the Oil Kings taking on the Medicine Hat Tigers down at Co-op Place in Medhat. That is your out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. Here at Rogers Place, again, it's 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. Goals coming from Matty Nyes and Matthias Michelli. Jake Wallman has the Oilers marker, his 5th of the season. Back to Jack and Bob we go. Third period action coming up on your Ford dealers NHL hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
You've been listening to At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Edmonton. Big moves need big talent, and AMJ is your go-to partner. For all local residential and commercial relocations, AMJ delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. AMJ, your team for every move. Contact your local branch today.
From backyard rinks to big arenas under bright lights, electricity powers every moment. At Capital Power, we generate reliable, affordable electricity for OilCountry and beyond, powering innovation, opportunity, and thriving economies across North America. Just like our Edmonton Oilers, we're driven, determined, and lighting up the game. We're powering change by changing power. Get to know us at capitalpower.com.
Cybersecurity is not just IT, it's a business issue. One breach can halt operations and permanently damage trust. Business leaders choose AltTech because they understand the stakes. Their specialists design cyber-first IT systems that protect productivity, safeguard data, and support growth. From construction to nonprofits, Canadian organizations rely on AltTech to stay resilient in a digital-first world. Secure operations, strong reputation, sustainable growth. That is AltTech. Visit altech.ca. That's ALT-TECH.ca. Hey, Edmonton. Big moves need big talent, and AMJ is your go-to partner. For all local residential and commercial relocations, AMJ delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. AMJ, your team for every move. Contact your local branch today.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Well, the cold reality is Edmonton is 0-7-2 this year when Connor McDavid does not have a point. He's not on the score sheet yet, and predictably the Oilers are behind 2-1 entering the final 20 minutes. But again, some last-second magic on this homestand and wins over Washington and San Jose. The Oilers look to do the same against Toronto. So we start the third period with a face-off win by Matthews over McDavid. Leafs with a 2-1 lead. The go-ahead goal, Matthew Nyes, 9 seconds after Wallman had tied it. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you high atop Rogers Place as Edmonton finishes up its longest homestand in 44 years. A chance to go 5-3 with a win. Chipped up the right-hand side. The aforementioned McDavid dishes off. Nugent Hopkins blisters one wide. Not sure whether Stoller's got a piece of that one.
Got to make the most of your chances.
McDavid shouldered into Nugent Hopkins with a puck top of the left circle. Checked by Carlo. He'll try to maintain on the half wall. Leafs fish it out of there, but held in. Shoveled back down low for a moment by Ekholm. And here comes Austin Matthews, who's been very quiet tonight for Toronto. That's the thing. The Leafs have not gotten anything out of Matthews, Nylander, or Tavares. So it's kind of been a saw-off amongst the top players. And the Leafs with a one extra goal off an Edmonton turnover stepping in. Boy, that was close to offside. Draisaitl to Kapanen a shot. And that's held by Anthony Stolarz. That was very, very close to offside. I thought it might have crawled outside the line.
Same here. I think they would have challenged that. But Nugent Hopkins with a great look. 15 seconds into the period. Right on the tape. And he missed.
I think he missed the net. I didn't see Stolarz get a piece at live speed, but a good save on Kasperi Kapanen, who's been noticeable tonight for Edmonton, and remains on the ice with Podkolzin flanking Draisaitl, who takes the face-off against John Tavares to the left of Stolarz, and just as predictably, Draisaitl chased out of the circle, replaced by Podkolzin. 2-1 Leafs. Toronto looking for its third straight win as it tries to stay in the Eastern Conference race. Draisaitl to Nurse. Kapanen a shot from distance by Nurse. Dropped by Stolarz. The rebound does not get out of the zone. Michelli turned it over. Kapanen kept it in. Stetcher kept Podkolzin in place, and then a big hit as that puck shoveled out of play. Was it deflected? They're signaling as such. So it's no delay of game and merely a face-off to the right of Stolarz. But this, a promising start for Edmonton. The Oilers have bottled the Leafs up here in the first 100 seconds of period 3.
Well, up comes Szymanski. He got an assist on the goal, but the problem was his line was on the ice right after, and
I don't know whether you could fault them a great deal.
Yeah, well, no, you start in goal with mishandling the puck, you give the Leafs a free goal.
Nicholas Waugh against Szymanski.
Mangiapane turned the puck over well up the ice on the 1-0 goal, and he's seen a shift since, Jack.
Simone Benoit up the left-hand side. That'll be an icing call against Matthew Nyes. And Toronto with a disjointed effort to start the third. And because of the back-to-back icings, that enables Edmonton an opportunity to load her up here. And this is what happens when you take too many icing calls as a visiting team.
But in the but category, they have an equalizer, and that's Nicolas Waugh. He's a decent face-off man, and right now McDavid's below 500 in this game.
But Draisaitl taking it.
To take the draw here. He's the only one at 500.
Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Ekholm, Bouchard. Edmonton's best 5 out there. And Nicholas Waugh tie up off the draw eventually. Draisaitl peels it back to Bouchard for a blast. And that deflects out of play, and we'll do it again. 18:08 still left in regulation. Tough start for Toronto.
So if
in this third period.
Jack, they got a lot of teams to hurdle, and Columbus won again tonight. If Brad Treliving makes the decision to sell, so everybody's looking at McMahon, they're looking at Scott Laughton. What about Nicolas Waugh, who's got a year left? And what about Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's got 2 years left at $3.5 million? He clearly can play top 4 NHLD. At minimum, number 5 left shot defense.
Well, he's on his way to another 40-point season. He's kind of rediscovered some offense after it had tailed off for him the previous 3 or 4 years. And he's also won a Stanley Cup. Off the draw, Matthews punched ahead for Bobby McMahon. Leafs finally break out and get it in deep. First time Toronto's done that here in the third period. Off a turnover, Matthews in front, and he just pushed one wide off the heel of his stick, and that's symbiotic of his year. McMahon rifled one off the mask, and then Matthews had a chance to keep it in and didn't do it. Boy, Austin Matthews has really struggled tonight. He has not done much. A shot from distance and a save. Stolarz through a screen set by McDavid. The shot was taken by Stastny. Max Domi dumps it in. And Bob, you and I have seen seasons where that was automatic. Automatically in the net. And Matthews, just a weak flub wide, has 26 goals this year. Shot by Emberson. He has an outside chance at 40. Which sounds like a good year, but he just has not been the same player.
When you've had 2 60-goal years, that's not a good year.
Well, but just, I think his general impact in games, Bob, he hasn't been a consistent threat, in my opinion.
There's still 17 minutes left in this game.
But do you know what I'm saying? You've seen enough Leaf games to know what I'm talking about. Here's Michelli weaving his way through the neutral zone. Batted down by Nurse. Around the boards for Jake Wollman. It's an open man. It's Janmark down the right side. Tried to tuck it in front, deflected away. Mangiapane back on the ice for Edmonton. Janmark had it roll off his stick. Here's Nyes with secondary coverage coming over to pick off a pass. The lead attempt looking for Nick Robertson, who forechecks strong against Jake Wollman. Nurse churning the legs, kicks it back to Wollman. Still a lot of time remaining. Up the left-hand side. I don't think Janmark got a touch. This is icing on Wollman and the Oilers, but I think the fault that time, Janmark's probably got to find a way to get his stick on it.
As you know, Janmark had we believe, a shoulder injury to start the year. And to me,
it's affected him all season.
All season. He fights to pick pucks up. He can skate. He reads plays well defensively. A somewhat effective penalty killer, because I don't know if I'd call anybody an effective penalty killer on the Oilers PK unit. You got to come up with the puck there. At least get a chip down the wall.
Matthews, offensive zone face-off. Burrowing his way in is McMahon. Here's Matthews up top, walking the line, a quick dish. Domi a shot, and a glove save made by Connor Ingram. The kind of stop that gives you a shot in games where it might not be working for you at the other end. Not for lack of opportunity, as Bob mentioned. Stolarz has 30 saves. That's a good one from Ingram. His 20th of the night.
Remember the year Domi had 28 goals and 72 points for the Canadians.
Easily his best. He's dropped off to 9 and 8 goals the last couple of years. Looks like he'll hit double digits with 9 entering this game. Matthews. A face-off against Roslovic, who won it cleanly. Here's Spencer Stastny up the left-hand side. But Colson will chip and chase against Ekman Larson. Around the boards, Nugent Hopkins up top. So this alignment tells me it's going to be McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman next over the boards. Here's Podkolzin rolling around Matthews. Drop pass, Kapanen down the slot, shoots and scores. And you could feel that coming all night from Kasperi Kapanen. He's been around it, and this time he puts one underneath the bar to tie the game at 2.
Well, Kasperi Kapanen is playing for a contract, Jack, and I got news for you. I personally, and just his overall performance all year, Edmonton's got a boost out of him when he's been in the lineup. What an elite level finish from a Finnish player who has twice scored 20 in his career and looked like it there.
Kasperi Kapanen with his 4 set up by Podkolzin went right through Domi, and just the seas parted. He went right down Main Street off a beautiful reverse feed from Podkolzin, who had Matthews tracking him, and drew Matthews away from the middle of the ice. Kapanen buries it. He's got 4 goals in the 18 games he's played this year. 2 separate injuries shortening his season, but he's tied the game at 2.
Well, he ended someone's season last year, as you know.
Kapanen will dump it in. Or excuse me, Emerson dumps it in, and Jake McCabe brings it the other way. No offside. McCabe eventually has it flicked away, held in by Lawrence down the right-hand side. Bob, we've got to get a translator to get those exclamations and what they actually mean. I don't know.
It's all those bad habits I learned with Cam Moon.
I was going to say.
Don't worry.
Here comes Draisaitl, dishing off to McDavid. Beautiful move at the line through Nylander. Emerson got the second assist, by the way, on Kapanen's game-tying goal. Draisaitl deep right corner for Edmonton. Now looking to take the lead. And they've got McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman on there. Bouchard shovels it down low. McDavid plowing through. And now dishing off to Bouchard. A whistling wrist shot and a save made by Stolarz, who stared Bouchard down. That was a good chance again in the slot. Toronto's coverage starting to get leaky, indicative of what Bob reminded us all. This is the second of a back-to-back. Are the Leafs running out of steam? Tavares shovels ahead. Toronto 3-4-1 in the second of back-to-backs this year. 26-21-9 overall. They need this game desperately. 6 minutes gone by in the third period. Edmonton has drawn even for a second time tonight. Flashed in by Savoy. Still on a line with Szymanski and Roslovic. Directed up to Nicholas Wall. He got checked by Wallman off the puck. Center ice, Roslovic gives it up for Szymanski. Played back. Roslovic in his own zone. Nurse, reverse pivot. He'll take it behind his own net. Edmonton attacking from left to right in period 3. Wallman has the feet pumping. A drive and a save. Do we have interference at the line? We do.
He didn't even see it.
This is going to be Toronto's first power play of the entire hockey game. And we've got Nurse in there roughing up Matthew Nyes. But I believe when we come back, Toronto will have an opportunity to regain the lead. The Leafs' power play has fallen by more than 7% this year. They'll look for a timely goal here in the third period. With a game even once again. The equalizer, Kasperi Kapanen. And it's Edmonton 2, Toronto 2 with Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. You know, Alberta's a special place. From the Rockies to the Plains, it's a land of hard work and big dreams. If you're going to tackle it all, you need a truck that can keep up. That's why I can't say enough about my Ford F-150. It's more than a truck. It's a partner. Rugged toughness, serious capability, and smart features that make your life easier, like available Pro Power onboard. The Ford F-150. Get yours today at your Alberta Ford dealer and tell them PB sent you.
At Brent, our job description is whatever you need to succeed. Expert support, parts when you need them, and financing that fits on the compact construction machines you want. Equipment, expertise, value, delivered right to your door. We do it right at your site. Call your Brent dealer to book your demo today.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Kasperi Kapanen in the game-tying goal, but Matt Savoy called for a dubious interference penalty. Puts Toronto on its first power play of the game, and now the Leafs, who've struggled all year long on the power play, they're 25th in the league. And again, testament to how much Mitch Marner meant to this club.
Well, the Oilers are only 19th in the penalty kill, and they've been sliding here in this homestand.
6 power play goals against for Edmonton in the last 4. We've got Tavares against Draisaitl, face-off to the right side of Connor Ingram. Game tied at 2. Edmonton has not led all night. Draisaitl will take the draw. No Curtis Lazar in the lineup tonight. Draisaitl has not really been taking draws at all on the PK lately. He'll take one here.
Can't remember the last time I saw him on the PK.
That's what I mean. With Lazar out of the lineup, that's the one hole you create. And then a miscommunication between Nyes and Matthews, taken away by Janmark. But what do we have?
High stick on Janmark.
I thought it might have been a hold on Matthews. Janmark clipped him, and now Toronto will get a 5-on-3 for basically a full 2 minutes, minute 54.
What did I tell you about his stick work? Okay? I mean, you just handed them a goal here.
The stick got up, no doubter. I initially thought Matthews might have been guilty for a hook because Janmark actually had him beat to the inside. But now a 5-on-3. Now we're coming out of the TV timeout. Otherwise, Craig Berube would be wise to think about a timeout here.
Just think of the 2 penalties Edmonton just took. Like, things are happening tonight in a game where you lose that type of game.
It's tied at 2 for now.
Yeah, gotta have a
Tavares.
Huge kill.
Nylander and Nyes with Matthews and Ekman-Larsson. Nugent Hopkins will take the draw. He's out there with that Coleman Bouchard. Face-off controlled by Toronto. Ekman-Larsson and Matthews will set the table up top. No one on Toronto's roster has more than 4 power play goals this year. Ekman-Larsson, Matthews, Nylander, left circle. Ekman-Larsson gets it back from Matthews. Nylander, still no shot. Ekman-Larsson takes it. Save made. Might have been a block off of Ekholm. Here's Nylander, top of the left circle. Matthews rotates up top, takes the pass, gives it back to Nylander, deflected away by Nugent Hopkins. Nylander under control. Tavares to Matthews, loading up. Tavares, Nylander, left face-off done. One-timer Tavares and a save made by goaltender Connor Ingram. Matthews on the rebound, fights through a check, in front, tipped, save. Stolarz watching as a save by Ingram and then a deflection as Nylander put it in front and Tavares tips it home. 5-on-3 power play goal for Toronto, and still you've got a minute 2 of power play time remaining with the Leafs now up 3-2. Jonathan Tavares, his 20th. He has reached 20 goals for a 16th time in 17 years. Tavares from Nylander.
Do you remember in Vegas the sequence where in 23?
Yeah, turned a 2-1 lead into a 4-2 deficit.
And it was Janmark on a 5-on-3 call.
Nyes and Nylander with the helpers. power play goal, 5-on-3 variety. And again, nothing like a 5-on-3 to revive a struggling power play.
Yeah, but you handed it to him.
Ekman Larson. I didn't like the initial call.
I don't like the initial call either.
Michelli, the high stick is a no-doubter, but you're right. Just like that situation, you didn't love the first call against Vegas, and the second was a no-doubter.
Yep.
Here's
both
Max
times,
Domi.
Janmark.
Deep left corner. Ekman Larson up top. Max Domi. Cross ice. One-timer score. Back-to-back power play goals. And Toronto takes a 4-2 lead. Matthias Michelli with his second of the night, 10th of the year. And 2 power play goals have staked Toronto to a 4-2 lead at Rogers Place.
The Oilers were all over them 5-on-5, and they're going to lose this game because of an iffy call against the Oilers' Matt Savoy. When Troy Stetcher, he went to acting school, he sold it, and then Janmark, an undisciplined stick. And it's a 4-2 Leafs lead here.
Ekman Larson and Domi with the helpers. 2 power play goals in a span of 31 seconds. And it must be stated, Bob, just what you were talking about the PK, which is brought to you by Nap Auto Parts. That's 8 goals allowed in the last 5 games.
It's not good enough, and it needs to be reevaluated here during the break. Not good enough.
Face-off won by Matthews, spilled in by Scott Lawton. Edmonton down 2, but this is again an area where the Oilers have excelled on this homestand, trailing late in games. Hyman, a backhander right on cue from the right circle. That pinballed wide. Rebound Matthews. And now you wonder whether 5-on-5, Toronto has enough juice to finish this game.
Well, the Oilers need to be flopping every time they get touched here.
Ekholm to Draisaitl.
Officials owe them a call.
Puck at center. Ekholm taking his time. Was Toronto's first 2 power plays of the game. Ekholm will send it in deep. Stolarz, but again, Toronto neither takes nor earns many power plays, and Stolarz almost backed one into his own net. Lawton up the right-hand side, and eventually Nicholas Waugh is able to muscle it back through center. Emberson over to Bouchard. 10:45 to play in the hockey game. Toronto 4, Edmonton 2. Pair of power play goals in 31 seconds. A dump in. Stolarz sent it into the corner. Szymanski tried to go to Savoy. That cycle disrupted. Lawrence couldn't get it cleared. Toronto pinned. Lawrence a second opportunity, and he's able to wedge it successfully down the ice. Nyes with forechecking pressure on Stastny and Emberson. Right-hand side, Szymanski plows his way into the offensive zone, then forced back the other way by Tavares. Is that enough to draw icing? I believe it was. With 10:10 to go in the third period. It's loud, obviously, with a competing chance of go, Leafs go, and let's go Oilers. And now, off the icing call, Edmonton will bring Nugent Hopkins out with Podkolzin and Kapanen, and they accounted for the equalizer 5-on-5. Keep in mind, earlier in this third period. Still 10 minutes to go. And Toronto, a propensity for blowing third period leads. 8 this season. And that's tied for second most in the league. Nylander up to Michelli off the draw. Michelli, who has a pair tonight, and now 6 goals in 10 career games against Edmonton. Philip Myers. We talked about that early, Bob. Always liked Matthias Michelli, and that's because he's excelled against Edmonton. He shows up. He was scratched the last time Bob and I were in Toronto back in December. Oilers won at 6-3. Here's Podkolzin, who had 2 goals in that game. Hard to the hole with a backhander, and that's caught near the left hip by Anthony Stolarz to keep Toronto out in front at 4-2. 9:26 remains. Third period. A pair of power play goals. Tavares' 20th. Michelli's second of the night, 10th of the year. And it's the Leafs by a deuce at Rogers Place with 4 dealers NHL hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
during every Oilers game day. The Canadian Brewhouse is your hockey headquarters. Cheer on the blue and orange, surrounded by fans as passionate as you are, while sipping $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. And that's not all. Every game day, you can enter to win Oilers home game tickets. So grab your crew, grab a seat, and make the Canadian Brewhouse your go-to spot this hockey season. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
When the Oilers are on the ice, the big hits are a part of the game. But they shouldn't be a part of your drive. If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown & Associates and their over 200 years of combined injury law experience help you. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown & Associates is ready to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
As the new year begins, Freedom Ford invites customers to start 2026 with confidence. Freedom Ford is offering deals on remaining 2025 Ford models with limited time incentives, lease specials, and the return of low financing. Customers can come see the new 2026 Ford models, from the spacious Ford Explorer to the top safety-rated Ford F-150. Freedom Ford showcases vehicles built for winter roads, weekend travel, and everyday reliability. Come on by today and see the complete Ford lineup today at Freedom Ford.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Edmonton has outshot Toronto 33-25 tonight. But on special teams, the Leafs are 2 for 2 on the power play. The Oilers have failed to score on their only opportunity. Interesting, coming out of the extended TV timeout, Roslovic out there between Frederick and Savoy. Nurse and Wallman, the D pairing. Face off to the left of Stoller. Scott Lawton and Roslovic grapple for puck possession off the draw, and the Leafs will turn it up ice. McMahon chipping and charging behind the Edmonton defense. Nurse protects, turns it over. Sharp angle shot by Lawton. Caught the outside of the goal, and here comes Nurse. Jitterbugging his way through neutral. Shoots wide of Stollers, who takes a gander. Nurse himself will keep it alive for Trent Frederick. Had it pried loose by Troy Stetcher. Advanced up the right-hand side, and the Leafs make sure to get it inside the Edmonton line as we go inside 9 minutes remaining here in the third period. Does Edmonton have another third period comeback in the offing? Shot off the rush, Roslovic. Rebound off of Stoller's pads. Lawton took a lot of time moving it up the right-hand side, but did get it out. Chipped off the boards, awkward bounce, shoveled ahead to McDavid by Ekholm. McDavid does not have a point tonight, and the Oilers haven't won any of the 9 games where he hasn't had a point this season. Brandon Carlo up to center, he'll shoot it in. Bouchard. McDavid, the league's leading scorer, 95 points, second in goals with 34. Draisaitl at center takes an outlet from Ekholm. Left to right, makes a move around McMahon. Carlo stays with him. Ekholm walking the line with 8 minutes to play, and off balance, kept it alive off of McDavid's stick and swatted to the half wall where Toronto will have time to clear. Here's Matthews through center. Turned it over at the line. McMahon steps up. Drops it for Domi. His shot tipped wide by Matthews. Wrapping up Domi is Hyman in the corner. Breaking away from traffic is Matthias Ekholm. Ingram calls out instructions. Ekholm wheels it up the right-hand side for McDavid. On him is Benoit. Rebound to Draisaitl off a deflection. And now you've got Kapanen. Off to Bouchard to drive, and that was blocked, and a painful one by Robertson. Down low, good anticipation by Benoit, and eventually dumped out. A big hit by Kapanen sent McMahon flying. Robertson pressure up ice meanwhile. Here's Emberson. Kapanen floats one deep into the offensive zone. Retrieved by Matthew Nyes. And on to Nicholas Waugh from center ice. He'll make certain to get it in deep. 7 minutes to play. Edmonton still trailing by a score of 4-2. Puck comes free to Kapanen. His third period goal tied it briefly. 2 power play tallies by Toronto. 5-on-3 and then 5-on-4 back-to-back have changed the complexion of this game. Waugh to Robertson. Lays it off the glass and out. Darnell Nurse at center. Nugent Hopkins backhands it up to Kapanen. Too far. Ekman Larson steers over. Stetcher. Nylander boots it, but not out. And now we had a puck play with a high stick with 6:24 remaining in the third period. Face-off will be to the right of the Toronto net. Jack and Bob with you live in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Your 50-50 jackpot in support of Every Kid Deserves a Shot is now over $2.2 million. So now the Oilers buy some time, and they're going to bring out Szymanski, Mangiapane, and Janmark for an offensive zone draw to the right of the Toronto goal. Tavares will take it for the Leafs. His tip-in put Toronto in front. Szymanski cleaned him up in the circle. Nurse's shot. And that was tipped wide by Carlo. Time for Nylander. Locates Jake McCabe. Thrown on net. Brushed to the corner by Ingram. Tavares had it stripped. And here comes Szymanski. Front end of a back-to-back for Edmonton. Back end of a back-to-back for the Leafs, who desperately need this win as they look for 3 in a row in a bid to climb back into the Eastern Conference playoff picture. Nylander crossing. Carlo pumps it up the middle to Lawton. Tavares tried to nudge it in deep. Janmark will reset for Edmonton. The Oilers, meanwhile, with Vegas idle, had a chance to take sole possession of first place with a victory in the Pacific, but they're now 5.5 minutes away from having to settle for a 4-4 homestand. Wallman and Draisaitl, after a brief miscommunication, Draisaitl cut off at center, and then Domi, who was tracking with McDavid, is able to play it ahead for Matthews, who gets it in deep. Now the Oilers bust out. McDavid on to Draisaitl. Back to McDavid with some space. In front, Hyman to Bouchard. Now McDavid cutting, shooting, off a skate. Leafs with a chance to clear, didn't get it done. Kept alive by Bouchard. McDavid beat Matthews. One-timer, Draisaitl saves. Stolarz. Rebound trickling, and the Leafs get it out. What a save on Leon Draisaitl by Stolarz. He stopped McDavid from a similar spot back in the second period, and that might have been the game saver for Toronto with 4.5 to play.
Great stop.
Lawton to Benoit. They rule that Yarncroke got a piece. And now Lawrence cuts it off on the left half boards for Toronto. Looking up ice is Emberson. He'll hoist it high in the air. A bouncing puck. Mowing his way through Carlo was Frederick, his old teammate in Boston. But now a steal by Savoy at center after a Toronto clear. Recovered by the Leafs. Calling for the puck is McCabe. 4 minutes to play. Toronto 4, Edmonton 2. Lawton waved at and tipped by Yarncroke, so Ingram has to move it swiftly to Ty Emberson. And now we start keeping an eye on the Edmonton net. The other night against San Jose, down 2. Knobloch pulled his goaltender with 4 minutes left. Here's Nugent Hopkins at center ice. He'll fling it in deep. For now, Ingram remains entrenched. Ekman Larson up the right-hand side. Matthew Nyes will skate it out. And a backhand lob will chase Wallman back. Nylander bearing down on him as he drops it for Darnell Nurse. 3.5 to go. Edmonton coming up ice. Nurse, a giveaway at center. And Wall will punch it back in. Toronto will change. Wallman allowing an Edmonton change to take place. Here comes Draisaitl and McDavid, who tries to beat Lawton up ice. Draisaitl takes it to center. To the bench is Connor Ingram. 6 on 5. The Oilers once again down 2 in the closing minutes. Can they do it again? McDavid cross ice. Draisaitl one touch to McDavid. Lost the handle briefly. Unable to clear was Lawton. Here's Ekholm for Bouchard. Draisaitl snapped it just wide. Clattered off the boards. Ekholm will maintain. 2:45 to play. Leafs 4, Oilers 2. Ekholm, McDavid, cross ice. Toronto, good read. Shot, bullseye. McMahon puts it away with an empty netter. Toronto 5, Edmonton 2. That's a good read on the cross-seamer from McDavid to Draisaitl.
Yep. But you said it about 2 minutes earlier. The save by Stolarz off of...
Secured victory against Draisaitl.
Against Draisaitl. You win with special teams and goaltending. The Leafs power plays 2 for 2 in this game, and their goalie was better. As good as Connor Ingram was early when the Oilers were just egregious in turning pucks over, Stolarz has had a real good start tonight for the Leafs, and they're back. They're going to be feeling good about themselves after this trip. And for Edmonton, they need to look in the mirror. 4 out of 8 is not acceptable at all.
And it could have been 2 out of 8. They needed late magic against Washington and San Jose. I mean, really, they're not far removed from a 2-6 homestand. So at some point, the urgency needs to creep in. Off the neutral zone faceoff. Toronto with a puck. Stetcher gets it back from Nylander, and the Leafs will kill some clock here. Mangiapane out there with Frederick and Janmark. Swept in by Nicholas Waugh, 2 minutes to play. Edmonton tied it with 15 and a half minutes to go. And then back-to-back penalties, one on Savoy, one on Janmark. Toronto converted the 5-on-3 and then made it difficult by getting the 5-on-4 as well. 2 power play goals.
That flipped the game.
In a span of 31 seconds.
If you're an Oilers partisan, you're saying it was a ref show in that sequence. Troy Stetcher with a great job acting.
By the way, Matthews, who had a quiet night otherwise, he had the read on the cross-seam pass, so he'll get an empty net assist on the McMahon goal. Bobby McMahon now 1 goal shy of back-to-back 20-goal campaigns. Here's Nick Robertson off a lead pass from Nicholas Waugh. 1 minute, 10 seconds to play. The Leafs will gain a split of the season series, a wrist shot sent wide, and they'll now be 11-2-1 as that puck kicked off the glass and out of play. 11-2-1 at Rogers Place.
Yeah, well, they just wait for Edmonton to make mistakes. What do we got going on here?
Waugh and Frederick.
Of course, Waugh cross-checked Frederick in the face last year in Game 5 of the Vegas series that capped and put the end on Vegas' season. Waugh got a 5-minute major, and I know that Frederick asked him to go in the last game. Waugh didn't take him up on that.
64 seconds remain. And do we have coincidentals here?
Might just be on Frederick. It's tough to win games when you have an .815 save percentage, Jack. And the
4 goals on 26 shots.
And now 5, obviously.
I mean, the 5-on-3, right. Tavares is a tap-in. I mean, and,
it was.
And they also made a good play on the Michelli goal.
Well, the Oilers got to go back to school on their penalty kill because it's been stinking the entire homestand.
Off the draw. Punch to Josh Szymanski with 1 minute remaining in the hockey game. It was coincidentals. We're skating 5-on-5. Frederick and Waugh are gone. And now the Leafs off an Edmonton dump in. Come up with a puck. Benoit ducking behind his own net is Philip Myers. And the Leafs are going to win both ends of a back-to-back in Alberta. And Edmonton now has to go to Calgary. And remember, the Oilers have lost 2 of the 3 with the Flames this year. You might think, all right, well, Calgary sinking like a stone with 6 losses in their last 7, 11 in their previous 15. But in the Battle of Alberta, in my experience, Bob, the wins don't come easy, usually.
Calgary's a good home team, Jack. Calgary's 14-10-4 at home.
Oilers had been outstanding on the road, coming in 9-3-1 in their last 13 and 9-2-2 against Canadian teams. But those trends come to an end tonight, and the Leafs have won 3 in a row. They had gone 2 months without a win in regulation on the road. Now they get him in successive nights. One last face-off, and taking it behind his own net is Myers, and that will do it Your final score, Toronto 5, Edmonton 2. The Leafs score the final 3 goals of the game, and the 2 power play tallies in 31 seconds midway through the third are the difference. Toronto now 27-21-9, 5 points out of an Eastern Conference playoff spot, and the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights continue to struggle at the top of the Pacific Division as Edmonton misses an opportunity to take over sole possession of first place in the division. They'll remain in a tie with the Knights, who've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, Knights have only won 1 of 8 games since they acquired Rasmus Anderson. They're 1-7 in their last 8, but the Oilers had 8 games at home and only won 4. And as you mentioned, could have easily been worse than that. This game turned. Edmonton had a lot of the offensive zone time, 5-on-5 as the third period went on. A very suspect call on Edmonton's Matt Savoy in a zone entry.
I didn't like that call.
Completely changed the complexion of the game. And then Janmark, we talked about the fact that he's dealt with a shoulder issue. He's got, he took a bad high sticking penalty against Vegas in game number 4 back in in game number 5 of 23 that made a huge difference in that game, one that the Oilers never recovered from. And tonight, the same thing. And with the way their penalty killing's going right now, think of the decision. Mangiapane in tonight had a great first period. But he turned the puck over on the 1-0 goal, that ultimately led it.
Now, that's not an egregious giveaway. It should be pointed.
It's a giveaway.
It is.
The Oilers made a terrible line change and then screwed themselves defensively on another giveaway, and Mangiapane saw the bench the rest of the second period. And you take a look at how this game, things happen tonight to Edmonton where you lose games when you do things like Edmonton did today.
Well, I thought you made a very interesting analogy, and you went back a couple years to do it, but you're right. With the questionable holding call against Broberg, and then the obvious high stick, no doubter.
Let's call the rookie on the call. That's what the refs do. They called the rookie. It was Broberg and 23. And Savoy here.
Flip the game, flip the series, flip the Stanley Cup playoffs, quite frankly, because you and I felt at the time, not after the fact, we felt at the time the winner of that series was going to win the cup.
We did. And Vegas did win the Stanley Cup, and the hardest series they had was against Edmonton. This, Jack, we're at the stage here where the Edmonton Oilers are 28-21-8 on the season.
Right.
Okay?
Now, past regular seasons haven't really mattered. We saw that last year when the Oilers didn't have home ice for the first 3 rounds, then had home ice for the final, and the result was a loss after they had won the 3 road series. Bob, I guess my question to you, you're expressing some concerns, and I understand why you are.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is a mediocre hockey team right now. They're not at the level they should be at right now.
But does it mean anything, in your opinion?
Well,
based on our experience over the last 3 years.
They've tended to come home strong at the end.
Yes.
Now, the problem is...
Except for last year when they didn't have McDavid and Draisaitl down the stretch.
Right. So
Results-wise. They were playing the right way, though.
I mean, the game in Winnipeg that they won where Connor just came back in the lineup and they didn't have Leon and they went in there and outshot the Jets 41-18. That was the night that I thought these guys are going to be fine, and they were fine, and they went on a hell of a run. This team in its current configuration... there's 2, the penalty killing is not good enough. The goaltending on this homestand, I'm going to have to do the math here, but, Jack, what did you say it was, 30 goals over the previous 6 games? So
now it's 35. Well, no, 30 goals, over 6, so now 35 over. They're giving up 5 a game.
They gave up 35 goals in this 8-game homestand because they did get the shutout against St. Louis,
Correct.
who were awful that night.
Yes.
And they're done. The Blues are done. The Leafs now are alive.
But in the remaining 7 games, 3 of which they won, they gave up 5 goals a game. How important, then, is the mini camp that will come after the break?
We got a game before that. They got to go to Calgary.
I understand
They got to go to Calgary, and they got to be ready to go early and capitalize. The Flames, now, one thing that's going to help them, Flames are one of the worst face-off. I thought Toronto winning some draws in key situations.
Well, and Calgary doesn't score either. But would you say that Edmonton has to be prepared to grind out a 2-1 or a 3-1 type of game? Because Calgary plays a pretty conservative style. They know what they have.
At this stage of the game, Jack, the Edmonton Oilers are playing better on the road than they are at home. I hope that's the case. Would you not? I mean, just looking back.
I mean, they're 9-3-1 in their last 13 on the road.
So that would suggest. And what are they at home here on the last?
Well, I mean, obviously
4-4 in this homestand. I mean, you had a chance. I mean, could you imagine if they went 6-2 in this homestand? They'd be up by 4 points in the Pacific Division range. And it's only because Vegas has had their second absolute stench-riddled run this year. Like, for the life of me,
something's amiss there. And they're probably saying the same thing about Edmonton.
And I'm wondering whether or not the guys that are Olympic bound, are they Olympic bound already?
Are they checked out, you mean?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow. The Flames are going to, I mean, Calgary just, that'll be an interesting.
0-8-2 without a point from McDavid this year.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, and you just sensed it early, Jack. Like he didn't have any puck luck. The power play created a couple looks, but they kept on losing face-offs. And I'm circling back to that on the special teams. They got cleaned up in the draw on the 2 Toronto power play goals that led directly to goals. That's part of the reason why. I mean, that's what swung the game. Again, special teams and goaltending, and I thought Ingram was okay, but he handed them you just scored it. You worked your tail off to tie the game 1-1, and he turns the puck over on the 2-1 goal. Then you score a great goal to tie the game, and then your rookie winger gets called on a BS. It was a BS call, let's face it.
I agree.
When the referee sees it clearly, but you
got to kill one off, and as you pointed out, the kill hasn't been good enough.
And I think we're at the stage here where between the defense and the kill, there needs to be some questions asked. Chris talked about the fact that they need to do a little bit of boot camp. Well, I think there needs to be more than just boot camp. I think there needs to be some serious evaluation, as this is a young staff, a relatively inexperienced staff. Chris got to pick the staff. I mean, think of the combination. Glenn Gulson's the head coach of the Dallas Stars, Paul Coffey last year, and Mark Stewart ran the PK last year. Gulson ran the power play. What was the power play at home on this homestand? 4 of 24.
The power play is now 4 for its last 25. That covers a 10-game stretch. So
16%.
9 of the 10 games at home.
Yeah,
by the way,
not good enough. And the bottom line is, look, we're the Oilers broadcasters. There was expectations with this season going in. I don't think and there's been an astute, you know what? Yeah, it hasn't worked out for Mangiapane and it hasn't worked out for Frederick this season. Roslovic's been a terrific ad. So it has worked out for him. The one thing I did like tonight is I like Nurse stepping up and fighting Carlo. And I appreciate that Carlo took the fight in that situation. So
final one for me. Edmonton outshot Toronto tonight, 36-27. We know Tristan Jarry will start tomorrow night. Do you expect a line shuffling at all?
Yes. Yes,
in addition to just Lazar coming in, we might see players in different lines.
I would. You know what I would do? I would play McDavid, Hyman, and Draisaitl from the opening shift tomorrow, and I would play Nugent Hopkins with Kapanen and
Golson. They had some mojo tonight.
Like Kapanen was the Oilers' best player tonight.
I agree.
And I think he got to handle the puck playing with Nugent Hopkins and put goals in. So I would keep those two lines together. I don't mind what Szymanski isn't quite ready. The Oilers have to add another top 9 forward because they've had.
But he wasn't a liability tonight.
No, because he's on the right side of the puck.
Right.
He got a crappy deal on the 2-1 goal for the Leafs. But end result here, they need more. Not good enough. And they have a chance to be at 29, 21, and 8 if they beat Calgary and win the final edition of the battle. But we've not seen the Flames, by the way, without Rasmus Andersson. They play Kevin Ball literally. Kevin Ball, that's been a great pick, but they play him with White Cloud.
A ton.
Those guys are both playing around 23.
And you'll see Uyghur a ton.
Well, Uyghur's minus 32 in the season, Jack. There are people that thought he might be in the mix for the Olympic team at the start of the year.
Yeah, he's had a tough year, but that's a tough situation. You don't have a lot of offensive support. But what you have had for Calgary is a competitive team for much of the year, and nothing to suggest that tomorrow's going to be any different. Calgary came very close to tying the Toronto game the other night when they were down 3-0. Tonight, it's Toronto 5, Edmonton 2. Michelli, a pair of goals, the last of which on the power play was the second in a sequence of 31 seconds that, as we talked about, turned the game in Toronto's favor. The Leafs have won 3 in a row. They're 27, 21, and 9, and they're just 1 point behind Edmonton in the overall league standings as Edmonton drops to 28, 21, and 8. Anthony Stoller's had himself a night. 34 saves. He'll earn his second win against Edmonton and his first win in 3 starts after coming off his latest injury. Connor Ingram, as we talked about, will drop to 6-4-1 with the Oilers. He faced 26 shots and stopped 22. Jarry to start in goal tomorrow night, and it's a possibility Calgary will go back to Devin Cooley. We've seen Dustin Wolf in each of the first 3 battles of Alberta. Cooley has not played the last 2 games. They had been alternating. Then Wolf got to back-to-back starts. He lost in Toronto, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Bob and I will have it for you. It's an 8 o'clock face-off right here on 880 CHED and the Oilers Radio Network. Until then, for Bob, Brendan, and Rob, this is Jack Michaels saying good night from Rogers Place. The final score, Toronto 5, Edmonton 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure was all ours. The Rogers postgame show starts right now.
Exclusive live interviews, expert analysis, and game highlights. This is the Rogers postgame show. Once again, here's Bob Stauffer on the Oilers Radio Network.
So this alignment tells me it's going to be McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman next over the boards. Here's Podkolzin rolling around Matthews. Drop pass, Kapanen down the slot, shoots and scores. And you could feel that coming all night from Kasperi Kapanen. He's been around it, and this time he puts one underneath the bar.
There you go. That made it 2-2. Edmonton carried a lot of the play. Suspect call on Savoy. They called a pick on him, and then Janmark did get... Matthews held Janmark, but Janmark got a stick up 5-on-3, and it flipped the script in the game. That's the Century Casino Highlight Zone. All in, all games, all season. Century Casino's 3 great locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, and next to the Edmonton International Airport at Century Mile. Welcome to the Winter Zone. From the Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth, this is a Rogers postgame show on the Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Edmonton. Big moves need big talent, and AMJ is your go-to partner. For all local residential and commercial relocations, AMJ delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. AMJ, your team for every move. Contact your local branch today.
Zach from EPCOR here. When winter rolls in, my family's outside skating, tobogganing, and enjoying the season. But stormwater ponds aren't the place. These ponds protect our neighborhoods from flooding year-round. Even in winter, the water keeps moving under the surface, making the ice unpredictable and unsafe. Edmonton has safe spots to skate and sled, like my favorite, the Rundle Park Iceway and Toboggan Hills. Stay back, stay off, stay safe. A note from your neighbors at EPCOR.
Hey, Edmonton. Big moves need big talent, and AMJ is your go-to partner. For all local residential and commercial relocations, AMJ delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. AMJ, your team for every move. Contact your local branch today.
This is the Rogers postgame show on the Oilers Radio Network.
All right, no Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance Goal game. Whatever life brings, we've got the coverage you need. Visit ab.bluecross.ca. The smart play of the game brought to you by Catelli Smart Pasta with all natural ingredients. It's a smart move for your next meal. Look for the all natural ingredients flag on the box the next time you shop. We'll give that tonight to Kasperi Kapanen, who was good. Let's bring aboard our Inside the Game analyst, Rob Brown. Rob, to me, the sort of things that happened to Edmonton tonight are the sort of things where your fate is sealed. You're going to lose the game.
Well,
you work super hard to tie the game 1-1, and then you have a malfunction at the junction between Connor Ingram and Darnell Nurse. How would you assess that sequence?
Well, it's funny. I watched the replay, and when you watch it from the other side, Ingram has to pass it through the referee's feet, because the referee was between him and Nurse was his only option, because Wallman stood up at the red line. Yeah. He's the one that forced the dump in. So that was his only play. He had to get it past the skates of the referee. He does. It wasn't a horrible pass, but Darnell let it go through his feet. And to me, Darnell, if he can just keep it in his feet and fight for it in the corner, because if you let it go, you don't know what's happening.
And that's what happened.
And all of a sudden, nice play by the Leafs. Turning the puck. Once they turn the puck over, take it to the net, and knees beat Wallman to the net. So bad break on that one. The Savoy one, that's one that if Wallman's not skating full speed about to fire the puck on net, they probably don't call it, but they call it because there was going to be a goal-scoring chance. And then the Janmark one, just poor stick management. Now, again, it's a 5-on-3, and Toronto scores. But you're only down one. The Leafs sent their second unit out.
And the Oilers got
and they got scored against.
Edmonton's penalty killing right now.
It's not been good.
It stinks.
Well, everything on the defensive side for the Oilers hasn't been good. You and Jack just talked about it. That's 5 goals against in the last 6 games, all on home ice, and with a healthy lineup, playing against teams that have been banged up, and they've come here. Even the Oilers had their chances. I mean, that was an incredible save, Stolar's on Leon. He had a couple of those tonight.
Yeah.
But the Oilers, again, were forced now the empty net goals. So the Oilers were scored. They had to score 5 goals.
Constantly.
And it's just too much. And a lot of self-inflicted. Wallman turns the puck over the blue line for a breakaway. Mangiapane turns the puck over. Bad line change. You can't do that against good teams. And again, Toronto, they're not good in their conference, but again, they're 1 point behind the Oilers. So this is a game that, and this is what you wasted too, is you wasted 2 goals scored by bottom 6 line or secondary scoring. So not good. This goes back to what we talked about the other game. The Oilers are not good defensively or right now. They're just not good enough. This is home ice that they're giving up 5 a night.
Yeah, no, it's
it's too bad. It's 5-3 road homestand is much better looking than a 4-4 one.
Can't have a negative goal differential on an 8-game homestand.
No, you
and
can't.
Go 4-4.
And Jack, you and Jack talked about it. And Jack pointed out first was they are very fortunate it wasn't 2-6 because they had to have magic at the end of hockey games. So again, they play well enough to win. Probably should have had more goals, but you can't expect your offense to have to score 5 goals a night to win hockey games. That is not a recipe for success. They have to be better.
Yeah, well, they didn't do very good against the East on this homestand, I can tell you that, for free.
Well, good thing they're in the Pacific Division and playing in the West.
Yeah, it's very exasperating for me, very frustrating. I mean, they beat St. Louis. Right?
Yeah, which is a bad hockey club right now.
They beat Washington, which is not the same team they were last year. They beat San Jose.
Yeah, but they beat Washington and they beat San Jose, and very fortunate to win both those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, very
not
fortunate.
Good enough. Rob, great stuff.
Sounds good, Bob.
This is the Rogers Postgame Show on the Oilers Radio Network.
Do your tires feel like hockey pucks on the road? Perhaps it's time for a new set of Atturo tires. No matter what you drive, Atturo has the right fit for you, including the all-new Trailblade HT and AZ810, premium all-weather tires for your pickup, car, SUV, or crossover. You can rest assured that Atturo tires will get you through all 4 seasons. Available at Action Car and Truck, Point S, and tire shops everywhere. Find a dealer near you at atturo.com.
The Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50 presented by Rogers is back and better than ever. With more early bird prizes, bonus raffles, and $1 million jackpots, the largest 50-50 in professional sports can change your life forever. And every ticket purchase helps more kids, more families, and more communities in need than ever before. Get your 50-50 tickets now at EdmontonOilers.com and help make OilCountry a better place. Who knows? You could be Alberta's next millionaire.
AGLC license number 744517.
Alberta, it's time to be mighty. The Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery is back. Get in to win the $2.5 million grand prize. An extraordinary luxury Riverview show home in Keswick plus $100,000 cash. That's not all you can win. The Oilers Power Play and $75,000 VIP prize. The Porsche Cayenne bonus prize. And the BMW in Barcelona early bird prize. Every ticket has the power to change lives. Be mighty. Support Stollery Kids. Get your tickets now at MightyMillionsLottery.com.
You're tuned in to the Rogers Postgame Show on the official voice of the Edmonton Oilers, 880 Chad, and on the Oilers Radio Network.
All right, let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard. Pizza 73, official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Bakersfield Condors tied at 1 after 2 against Calgary. Bakersfield's had a very good season with some solid goaltending of late. Meanwhile, tomorrow night, Edmonton Oil Kings are in Medicine Hat to take on the Medicine Hat Tigers. Around the NHL tonight, Anaheim up 1-0 over Seattle. That's in the second period. Carolina leads Ottawa 4, or that's the final. Carolina beats Ottawa 4-3. Philly doubles up Washington 4-2. Columbus has won 10 out of 11. They beat the Devils 3-0. Islanders win in overtime. Horvat, GWG, and OT 5-4 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tampa Bay, Jake Gunsel with the GWG and OT. They beat Buffalo 4-3. Here, the Oilers tied at 2-2 in the third, and then back-to-back penalties. They hand the Maple Leafs 5-on-3, and in the process hand Toronto the game. The final score 5-2. This is the Rogers Postgame Show on the Oilers Radio Network.
Rogers is Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network, so you can stream Edmonton Oilers games and see Leon scoring in Leduc. Watch Ty tie things up in Tofield. Or check out Connor doing Connor things in Kalmar. And even catch boosh bombs in Beaumont. Try saying that 3 times fast. Rogers, this is our game.
Hey folks, Paul Brandt here. Around these parts, we work hard, play hard, and we demand the best. Sometimes you need a truck that's a cut above. The Ford Super Duty. Tough enough for any job with the style and luxury you deserve. It's as powerful as it is refined, with cutting-edge features that make every drive a pleasure. In short, this ain't your everyday pickup. The Ford Super Duty. Drive the finest truck Alberta has to offer today at your Alberta Ford dealer. And tell them PV sent you.
All right, let's go to Molson Cup 3 Stars, presented by Molson, the official beer of the Edmonton Oilers. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. You must be of legal drinking age. The third star tonight from the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll give it to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. The second star tonight, Kasperi Kapanen of the Oilers. And the first star tonight with a pair of goals, Matthias Michelli's been a healthy scratch during the course of the season. The Rogers postgame shows are following each of our NHL broadcasts. Edmonton and Calgary tomorrow night, 8 o'clock puck drop. For my play-by-play partners, Jack Michaels, Cam Moon, Rob Brown, Brendan Escott, Aidan Gannam, studio producers, Kellen Kennedy at the helm tonight, and Eamon Hashem, longtime engineer, Troy Bowler. Bob Stopper saying so long, everybody, from Rogers Place. The Oilers, the final 2 games of their homestand, go 4-4. They'll look to rebound tomorrow night on the road.
And it stays out. Neither team's been able to buy one. And then they score on the tip. And the Leafs strike first.
He didn't get that on the follow-up. McCabe in a great position. That's a shot for a tip. That's not a shot trying to score. Get it through the lane. No, you've got a guy. And how about that? Between the legs, up and over.
The critique of Stolarz early was trying to do too much, too busy, but on point so far tonight. That shot scores! The announcer cheats, and it's time and 1.
Behind the puck, it's behind. You can hear it hit the back of the net. But you can see Lawton trying to get to Roslovic, and it goes straight in, off that post and through. No contact before the puck went in. You can see everybody kind of looking, but Wallman just absolutely unlays this one towards the net, up and over the pad with some traffic in front. Lawton, after missing the draw, took his centerman through, and that one didn't hit anyone, just underneath the glove.
Of the season for an Oiler blue liner. The 11-11 time of the goal. The break back. Matthew Nyes. 7 seconds later, the Leafs restore the lead.
How do you get this in just 7 seconds? A dump in. Simple plays we've seen so many times from behind. Ingram can't make the pass through, and a little give and go right down the gut. Szymanski's going back one way. Nyes gets inside there, and that's a tough play for Szymanski because he's thinking they got complete control.
Back to the line, Emberson and across. That shot wide of the net, ends up behind. Back up top for Emberson. But Colson on the move. Matthews trying to stay with him. Back the other way, Kapanen scores!
And puck movement, a little rotation across, up to the top. Crisscross here, but Colson with a hard drive, and then Kapanen walks right down the middle. A quick move around the stick, and just shows all kinds of confidence. You know, it's interesting. Chris Knobloch again went with the nuclear option, so it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with those two. And on their first shift together in this third period,
Nugent-Hopkins disrupts that. Now Tavares moves up. They change the look. John Tavares in the high slot. Nylander sweeps it across, and Tavares off the outside of the goalpost. Matthews up with it. Here's Matthews in front. Nyes can't get a stick
back on it. Back to Nylander. And across goes John Tavares. Backdoor. His 20th of the year.
Good puck movement, but a good job defensively of taking away the early chances. Great read by Ingram there on the one-timer by Tavares. And I think on this read, in tight, the rebound's there to clear. Oilers aren't able to, and a smart play by Nylander. A little bit of a tick off the skate stick of Ekholm, and then right on to John Tavares on the doorstep. And that
on the back half of this power play for Toronto, it's Domi looking across, scores! What a finish for Matias Maccelli. Doubles down, and the Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Scored in back-to-back games, and here his second. What a great feed across.
Matthias Ekholm's got it. Here is Draisaitl snapping that across. Net empty. 6 men on for Edmonton. Bouchard on it. McDavid wants it. Tried to get it to Draisaitl. Bobby McMahon. Empty net. Bullseye.
That puck is, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson able to clear it. The give-and-go passes, that time knocked away by Bobby McMahon. No hesitation.
That third pair of Myers and Benoit, and Leaf fans are on their feet. The season series split. Back to the line, Emberson and across. That shot wide of the net, ends up behind. Back up top for Emberson. But Colson on the move. Matthews trying to stay with him. Back the other way, Kapanen scores!
And puck movement, a little rotation across, up to the top. Crisscross here, but Colson with a hard drive, and then Kapanen walks right down the middle. A quick move around the stick, and just shows all kinds of confidence. You know, it's interesting. Chris Knobloch again went with the nuclear option, so it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with those two. And on their...
The critique of Stolarz early was trying to do too much, too busy, but on point so far tonight. That shot scores! The announcer jinx, and it's tied at 1.
Behind the puck, it's behind. You can hear it hit the back of the net. So you can see Lawton trying to get to Roslovic, and it goes straight in, off that post and through. No contact before the puck went in. You can see everybody kind of looking, but Walman just absolutely unlays this one towards the net, up and over the pad with some traffic in front. Lawton, after missing the draw, took his centerman through, and that one didn't hit anyone. Just underneath the glove over the pad, and got yourself a 1-1 game.
5th of the year for Walman. That's
well, it's not often we hear directly from Connor McDavid, or at least at length, but he did an interview or kind of an essay for the Players Tribune, and here's some